Hi, fam.
Welcome back to another episode of Pumped Up Tea. I'm Taylor.
I'm still Sarah.
Yeah, we're not switching anytime soon. We are coming at you with another week of a Love Island recap. This week, much better than the first.
Oh, I regret saying that I wanted things to get spicier because boy, did they get spicier.
And messier.
Also,
So messy.
Guys, I take back every single nice thing I ever said about Rob last week. Everything I said in last week's episode, gone, done. Throw it in the trash. I'm eating my words, okay? The man's trash.
Trash!
I can't believe I said that.
He did such a 180 too from like what we had seen in week one. So
Yes.
It was just absolutely
Yes.
insane.
I take it all back. Forget I ever said anything nice about him at all, okay? Okay.
I also feel like we should talk a little bit about yesterday was Miss Ariana Madix's birthday.
Happy birthday, mother.
Happy birthday, mother. Today is Tuesday, the 25th, as we are recording this.
Yes.
So let's say like if you guys end up having this episode by Friday, Saturday, obviously week 3 will be almost over, but you know.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's cool.
We got
You
this.
love us. It doesn't matter.
So before we move on with the recap, I think that it's only fair that we go through some tea of the week because this is pumped up tea.
Pumped up tea.
Of course, we're going to go into the Vanderpump related news.
Obviously.
Actually, this one just kind of came to the brain. This wasn't even in the notes, but Tom Sandoval is back.
Yes. That was very fast filming.
I cannot believe, I didn't realize that one
like
single season only took 3 weeks.
I felt like way shorter than 3 weeks. I feel like I blinked and it was over.
That was it.
It felt like he was gone for a week.
One thing I'm even more surprised about, he's been very quiet.
Yes, he did post a picture of Victoria and Kyle Chan, though.
Mm-hmm.
So I am standing firm on my Kyle Chan is playing both sides.
Probably.
I'm actually kind of glad he didn't say anything because I literally cannot handle anymore.
Yeah, we're at this point we're never gonna get like the full truth of the whole situation anyway. So
no, we never were. But I think in the heat of the drama, when it was really piping hot, I really wanted Tom to like come out of his like sequestering and just be like, "Yo," and like say something, and then like go back. But now that he's like out and it kind of died in the time between him coming back to life, I really don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
Like I care less what you say.
Very well said. I think we were all over that anyway. So rehash it?
I'm over it. I'm glad he stayed quiet.
Yeah. Next thing that we have to talk about is that there has apparently been a blind item that was spotted by Miss Lala Kent.
I've been cackling for days.
Apparently, she has been just calling and texting producers nonstop so she can try to get another chance at being on The Valley.
Mm-hmm. Did you see that fucking weird-ass picture she posted?
I don't even follow her anymore, so like
I saw it on one of the 2 Vanderpump subreddits. Shout out to y'all. I love you guys. She posted this photo of like a car service. This is after she had just basically insinuated on her podcast that she can't afford her house, right?
Okay. Oh, right.
She posted, right? So the blind item came out. She was talking about how she really can't afford her houses. Girl, no one told you to buy 2 houses. And then either today or yesterday, I'm lost for days, but she posted like the back of this like car, and her caption was like, let me find it real quick. Her caption was talking about how like she's retaining a lot of water this pregnancy. So she's like, so basically in her Instagram story, y'all can see, she posted a car. I have it. Oh, there we go. She posted the back of a car service. Concierge is what it's called. It's spelled with a K. K-N-C, and then, Sears. Mm-hmm. The water retention is no joke, so I'm getting bougie this pregnancy. I hired a car service to drive me around in a car that I can elevate my legs in. Girl, you were just complaining about money. And that's why I think this is like a strategic post, because it feels that blind item came out that she's scrambling. She's talking about how she like insinuates she can't afford her mortgage. So she's like, oh shit, people think I'm broke, which like you probably are. So she's posting, look at me and my fancy car service. Like, do you not have an assistant?
She does, actually.
You can't have that. You also live with your mom and your brother. Like, they can't drive you around? Like, that's got to be expensive.
Yeah. No, it's definitely got to be very expensive. I just don't see the real reason as to why she really needs this.
She does. It's flaunting. It's giving housewife. Like wannabe housewife.
Broke AF.
Yeah. It's really befitting of like this image that she has portrayed for the last 6 months of like you can just see right through her.
Did you see her seltzer commercial?
Yes, and something for what the
or was it water?
Ninja Bullet?
Oh, she did a Ninja Bullet commercial too.
If I'm not mistaken, yes.
That's so funny.
Girl is taking all the sponsorships, which again, like get your bank, girl.
Do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do.
This is what she could have been doing all along.
All along.
All along.
Literally all along.
Instead of bitching and getting upset that Ariana was the one doing it.
Okay, here's my thing too, right? I really loved in the beginning how free she was about like sex and her sexuality because like it's the opposite of how I am and I wish that I was that way and I love that about her. Like she should have gone in there and done some like spicy like advertisement, right? They have them. There are websites, woman-centric websites. Yeah. That, like, I have seen ads for on, like, makeup YouTubers and, like, TikTokers and shit, right? Like, they do that shit. You should have done that. Like, take advantage of, like, her brand, shall we say. She gives her OG brand, right, which came on the show, was, like, a feminist icon. I don't give a fuck, like, women are the best, and, like, we should be embracing the power of the pussy. That literally was words out of her mouth. Right? That's what she said. She should have done that from the beginning, right? Because Ariana right now is making bank off the image that she has been getting, right? She's out here pulling everything she can from this, like, whatever.
She literally did a cat litter box ad.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Lala could have been doing that the whole time. The whole time. And then, like, she could have turned this Randall thing around and probably found sponsorship and ads and all kinds of shit, right? No, you made a really shitty Hulu documentary and then cried because your co-star wouldn't film with her abusive ex.
Literally cried.
You had so many. I could sit here and list things that Lala would have been like a badass sponsor for.
Yeah. She had a lot of potential.
So much potential.
A lot of potential. And then she dropped the bag. So.
That's not Ariana's fault.
No, it's not Ariana's fault at all.
She's out here being an island goddess in fucking Fiji, okay? All right? With her super hot boyfriend, all right? I don't know. Did y'all see the photo he posted for her birthday?
Oh, it was so sweet.
So sweet. I love that he included, like, really dorky things of her, too. But, like, guys, that man is hot.
He's pretty hot.
She's also hot, though. They're a very hot couple. She's slaying every goddamn look she has on this fucking show.
Everything.
The Barbie one last night, iconic. Not last night, the night before.
Was it the night before?
Yes, because last night's episode she wasn't on it.
Oh, right. Because 2 nights ago was the elimination.
Yes, and she scurried away after elimination. She's like, I dropped a bomb. Everyone is crying. Peace out. I'm gone. All right, anyway, back to the tea. I'm so sorry.
I know. We took a quick little tangent, as we do.
I mean, y'all are used to it by now.
Yeah, I know. We had Lisa Vanderpump on the Not Skinny But Not Fat podcast by Amanda Hirsch. And basically all that I really got out of that podcast was that Stassi and James were like her two favorite reality stars to work with.
Yeah, we knew that though.
Well, right? She said it on Probably Call Her Daddy, I believe. So
yeah, but we always known that. We always knew Stassi was her favorite, and we always knew James was her favorite because she would never hold James accountable.
That's true. Listen, you never know. There was always probably a point where the Toms had also taken over.
The Toms. She's not gonna say right now that the Toms are her favorite. She's smarter than that. But like we all know that the Toms are definitely up there.
Absolutely.
Maybe not right now. She probably is a little peeved at the two of them, but they definitely have been up there.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. That's why she showed up to...
Speaking of Stassi, it was also Stassi's birthday because her and Ariana share a birthday. It's my birthday!
It's my fucking birthday! So next, unfortunately, we got to talk a little bit about Jax Taylor. The first thing is that Jax and Brittany are acting very together-like these days. You know what I'm going to say?
I know what you're going to say.
This was all false. I think that, and I've been going back and forth because I don't know for sure what has been happening, what's going on, but my very first theory when the separation first happened was that this was all for the cameras. This was going to be all for the season.
Insert a clip of you saying it right here from like 5 weeks ago. But that is the Jax and Brittany's. So they're not separated. They've come out and said it. But the internet is still suspicious.
Yeah. So I think that this is all just to get a bunch of attention because they have a brand new show coming out.
Yeah. I didn't actually notice until I think I told you last week. And I was like, oh, the internet thinks that they're separated. I'll believe it when I see it.
No, seriously. I'm like, there's gotta be like, there's gotta be a poll here to make us watch this show. Now that the show is over for the season, they're suddenly like quietly, right, trying to make their way like back together. And then my extension to this theory, because now it's evolved. The more I keep seeing them together.
Okay.
They are basically going to set up season 2 to be their getting back together arc. By the way, guys, the Valley starts in like mid-July. The Valley filming starts in mid-July.
I buy it. She's been cozying up with Lori Kay this week in Hawaii.
Really?
She's in Hawaii with Lori Kay right now.
Oh, yeah. I posted about that today.
Yes, you did.
Mm-hmm. Well, because I found it a little weird that...
Why are you hanging out with the publicist that your husband in a bathroom in Canada?
Like, there was a whole big thing where you guys were blocking each other and unfollowing each other and then removed Lori Kay from, like, your bios and, like, a whole big thing, right?
And now you're cozying up with her.
Yep. They took that picture at Jax's, and now she's at a whole, like, retreat with them, which they've gone on every year, mind you.
For Lori's birthday.
Yep. And now all of a sudden she's back in with, like, Lori's birthday trip and hanging out with all of, like, her other clients. And
here's my question and my statement. I firmly believe whether the separation is real or not, that man 100% had an affair with the publicist.
He's had probably many affairs, period, at this point.
Yes, listen, I was in neck deep when we were all speculating about the Canada shit, right? Like, I saw the videos. We were looking. Those photos that they took at that table together looked like a fucking couple. Remember that photo?
Yep.
Yes, okay?
Even though he was flashing the ring, it's like, we still do.
I guarantee you, she was like, we're going to post a picture together. Like, make sure you have your wedding. Right? She's going to publicize the shit out of that. But I do not for one second think that he didn't her in that bathroom in Canada. He did. And then that makes me feel like Brittany is so... It really puts a bad taste in my mouth with Brittany, because if you know all of these things that he is doing, right, you are that desperate for fame that you are going to, like, I can't think of the right word here.
Like, why call him out, right, on the fact that he wasn't gonna do the things that she needed him to do, and then just be okay with the fact that he didn't do it. Like, we all know he didn't do it.
We all saw the way he treated her on television. We've seen the way he's treated her on television for a fucking decade at this point. It was like, I think 2014 was when she came on the show. So at this point, it's been almost a decade of them together. Like, he's treated you this way for 10 years. You finally get out, right? You finally get out, I say with air quotes for those not watching YouTube. And you're just going to go right back because you're that desperate for fame? Like, think about your fucking kid. He's screeching at you. You had to flee your home. It's gross. It's really just like, it's pathetic is what it is. Like, it's pathetic.
And then they're going on their podcast being like, oh, should we have sex? Like, you were asking me if we should have sex. And it's like, we get it, Jax.
The two of them are fucking pathetic.
Yeah.
They're fucking pathetic. I have no more sympathy. I have zero sympathy for her now. I have zero, because you were out. You were golden. You were free of the narcissist. And then you go crawling right back. And I normally do not victim blame, because it is very hard to get out of those situations, right?
But then don't go on all these talk shows talking about how much you've moved on,
or
how
a fucking article in US, what is it, Us Magazine?
Yeah.
How my marriage fell apart. It didn't fucking fall apart, bro.
Like, it seems still very much intact.
He's out here with, like, the OnlyFans girl with boobs bigger than my head. And you're just like, it's fine. It's cool as long as I get to be on TV.
Oh, yeah.
Like, have some fucking dignity.
I'm exhausted.
I literally can't with them. I can't. And I will be hate watching The Valley season 2.
Same. And then last thing about Jax. Jax said, oh, you could probably explain this more because you saw the Reddit post, but apparently Jax said on his podcast that he apparently met a doctor at his bar.
In a bar. guys, in a fucking bar.
And he basically like unloaded essentially on her and trauma dumped all over her. And then you call that seeing somebody for help?
Essentially.
Right?
Yeah.
What, did I get that right?
More or less. Just pull it up real quick. This was in Vanderpumpaholic subreddit. Jax reveals he's going through a midlife crisis, air quotes. During a June 7th episode of their podcast, Jax revealed that he finally saw a doctor where he addressed his mental health issues. This is a direct quote. I met a doctor at my bar and she's absolutely amazing. And then he goes on to say, and I went in there and literally just broke down. I'm sorry. You met a doctor in your bar and you thought, let me go see this person. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I wonder if she was in Malibu.
I have midlife crisis. Baby boy, you've been in a midlife crisis since you were 32 years old in season 1 of this goddamn show. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? All right? When is the midlife crisis no longer a midlife crisis? Also, you're like fucking 47.
This is giving like the Reiki instructor all over again.
Oh, 100. That's literally what I thought of when he said that. I was like, this is fucking Reiki all over again. Like, this is, it's not, And I don't even really believe that he did meet a doctor in a bar.
Yeah, I wouldn't believe it either.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So that's the news cycle for the week. Am I missing something?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty much all.
That's all I had. The lawsuits are still pending, so there's no update there.
No updates on season 12 either, so thank the Lord.
No.
Oh, actually.
Oh.
Maybe?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's what we're forgetting.
So, Sir, the restaurant Sir, posted on their Instagram a group photo of their employees that work there, and one of the other employees, I don't remember who, I'm sorry, reposted that photo and basically said, like, new cast of Vanderpump Rules, who's this? And then it was a different account that I guess tagged Sir in a story or had posted a story, and Sir reposted that to their story and pointing out that in that same group photo that Sir Rules posted, Evolution Media, who is the production company that runs Vanderpump Rules, was tagged in it.
Oh! I didn't see that part.
Yeah. Evolution Media was tagged in that photo.
It's happening.
So we could be getting Vanderpump Rules next gen. And I don't know how people are going to feel about it, but so far I've seen comments saying that they'll watch.
It's all happening.
I don't have that. Too much is happening.
It's all happening. I said this weeks ago. If they're gonna reboot, I will watch the heck out of that.
I'm scared. I'll let you handle the first couple episodes.
Hey, you know what? You handle the first couple of The Valley. I will handle the first couple of Vanderpump Rules. Yeah, well, I guess we'll see. But there's no news from any of the cast that they have been fired. The original cast right now, no one has said anything.
Yeah.
So I think I saw that photo and I saw that all of that, and it was very obvious that is the new cast. The way that it was posted, the caption is very obvious it's the new cast. I think they're probably just trying to figure out how to weave it with the OGs still.
I don't know if they'll be able to. Not unless they get like the Toms involved. I feel like the Toms are going to be their only way in.
But also the Toms aren't tied to Sir. They're tied
maybe not.
to Tom.
No. But I'm saying in terms of like which cast members they're going to want to go with, I feel like it's only normal for them to want to go with the Toms.
Yes, it's very much like New Jersey right now. They are siding with Teresa.
Yeah, like they don't need...
Which frustrates the fuck out of me.
They don't need them for the long haul. They just need them for the transition.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Rope us all in, right? And then once we're hooked, they can throw everybody out.
Exactly.
I
and
think
then be
also,
done with
too, they probably might be waiting to see, once Ariana's done with all her summer things, like see where she's at, because she is a very big pull into Vanderpump Rules right now, and Peacock and Bravo and Vanderpump are all under the same umbrella. It's all NBC, and it's very obvious by Love Island numbers that she's a huge pull because they got a lot of new people watching. Case in point, this room right now. My mother also. Okay, I got mom hooked on this shit right now.
Oh my god, Max likes it too.
Yes,
I've got people hooked on this shit.
But, like, it's very obvious that she's a huge pull for audience now, and they care about that. They don't necessarily care about her well-being, but they care about the money and the numbers, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I guarantee you they'll wait till she's done with the Love Island USA. She'll do her 6-week rerun with Chicago, and then when that is done, they'll probably get a feeler of where everybody is at, right? Because then the summer will be over. Lala will have had her baby, right? Like, that I think is also what they're waiting for.
I was going to say, I think Lala having the baby is also like a big...
Tom just finished the Traitors. Like, there's a lot of things, you know, something about her will have been open for a while. Like, there's a lot of things happening that they're probably all just like waiting for. So once this one is done with these obligations, this one's had their baby, this one's done with his obligation, they're all just going to be like, okay, where are we at, guys?
Right.
And then they'll make a final decision. I'm sure there is a storyboard somewhere of like, with like the little, like a murder, you know, like murder boarding, right? I'm guarantee you in a back room on an NBC lot somewhere, there's a board with like all the Vanderpump faces and like a photo of the new people.
And Charlie Day just looking like...
And yes, and there's red threads and pins in every direction. That is somewhere in the NBC lot right now. That shit's fucking happening. I guarantee you that's what's going to happen. We will get season 12 news by like October the latest.
I would say the same, yeah. October the latest. But now that we're done with the tea, let's talk about Love Island.
Yay!
I love this show.
I am obsessed.
It is so fun.
I am obsessed. Oh my god. I'm obsessed. I'm actually really bitter that I decided to watch the hockey game last night instead of Love Island because the hockey game...
That's pretty big.
Yeah, okay? Well, the Oilers disappointed me, all right? I had to watch fucking Florida win the Stanley Cup, okay? It hurt my soul. It hurt my soul.
All right, so we'll start straight where we left off. We'll go into Love Island episode 7. They take it straight after we meet the newer bombshells, so Nicole and Andrea.
So much has happened since you just said that, and I was like, oh.
It feels like a lifetime ago. I feel like so much has happened.
No, literally is how I felt. I was like, what do you mean we're only there?
Right? Because we left off, like, right at the very end of the lingerie party when Ariana brought them in. They greeted the guys with the kiss, and then...
So much to talk about.
And now we're just taking it from there. It's
oh my God.
And that was only a few days ago.
You're right.
Like, Jesus Christ.
Okay, no, no wonder they're all overwhelmed in the house right now, okay? Because I'm overwhelmed that I'm not sequestered in the house.
Exactly. So, that's crazy. Everybody's pretty much pulling the girls aside to get, just to get to know them. Who are you? Where are you from?
Nicole and Andrea.
Nicole and Kendall pretty much immediately get drawn to each other. He's definitely feeling it. She seems to be feeling it.
I love this for him because he has kind of just been thrown in with everybody. Not necessarily because, like, they really wanted him. And now, like, here is... Because Hannah didn't want him. Right?
Yeah, Hannah definitely didn't want him. He didn't want her either.
No, I like Nicole. I love this for him, right? That he had someone that wanted him from the jump, right? Because he deserves that.
Yeah, they seem to have had a really nice connection together
I really like them.
for a minute. Andrea chats with Aaron at one point, and Kaylor seems shook, but don't worry, guys. False alarm.
False alarm.
It ain't happening.
False alarm. They have a very adorable moment. Kaylor and Aaron. I need a couple name for these like couples that are obviously going to be together for a while because I can't keep saying both their names.
Karen.
They have a very cute, I'm going to bring this up later when we get to the episode, but they have like the cutest freaking moment during one of the challenges that I literally was like, stop it, I'm dead. But yeah, she had a moment, which I think, I anticipated because she had that, they were in a weird spot after she kissed some of the boys and she was unsure and they were still in that weird, like...
Yeah, so he was just playing the field.
As he should, and she told him to, and I'm glad that he did because then it kind of just reinforced for the both of them that, like, this is my choice.
Yeah, like, they're really feeling each other now.
And the more the days go on, guys, the more obsessed with them I get.
They seem so solid.
So solid. And even we'll get there, but even last night, like, again, afterwards, they came back together and they had a very nice, like, yeah. So they're very solid. I can see why they won the vote. I think they won the vote. They didn't say who won, but I guarantee you they won the vote.
Oh yeah, they didn't say who won the vote. I guess like the votes are really just for the sake of knowing like which couples to keep.
Who's the bottom three? Yeah.
Who are the more favorable couples, and then who are the bottom three, and then go from there. Aaron and Andrea bond because Andrea is Latina. He grew up in Spain for a little bit, and then we finally get Andrea talking to Rob, and she basically was attached at his hip ever since.
It was over right after that. She didn't talk to nobody but Rob. Not even the ladies after that. She didn't do nothing but Rob.
And Leah was panini pressed.
Panini pressed.
Panini pressed the whole time.
Stop, I love that.
Yeah.
Dead.
She was not loving it. Just talking about this was before she started really spiraling, but she's just giving him like those daggers like that whole time.
I would too.
Nothing really else important happens at this scene, I guess. Aside from Rob and Leah meeting at the dock. He basically says, you don't have anything to worry about unless I tell you that you do.
Girl, you should have been known right there. I can't believe that I was so wrong about who was going to be the ultimate fuckboy on this show.
Well, it's funny. I looked back on my first thoughts of Rob from last episode, and I was like, he's definitely trying to fuck. And I kind of forgot about that first impression for like several episodes because he was like doing his thing with Leah. And now I can reiterate exactly the thing I said. He's just trying to fuck. And we'll see that later.
That boy is going to pick the money over the girl.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
He's from Florida. We should have known.
No, he's from Alabama.
He's from Alabama? Oh,
close. Right next door.
Okay, it's neighbors.
Right next door. We're going into day 7 now, officially.
Oh my God.
The night's over.
All of that was one solitary week. It has only been a week.
It had only been a week.
And so many things have happened.
So much has happened. It's insane. I mean, I guess so much only can happen, right? When you're completely sequestered and there's literally nothing else to do on this entire villa.
Yeah.
But just talk to each other.
Yeah.
So I guess there are going to be a lot of conversations had and whatnot. Yes. But into day 7, Andrea chats with Connor. She's doing it right in front of Janae. And this was when they were doing like their little sexy stretching and poses and stuff, like right in front of them so that Connor can still look at Janae. So Andrea, after their conversation with Connor, goes up to Janae, basically says that Connor is basically in love with her and then walks away.
That's right.
So I forgot that this happened. And yes, okay, now I see why she leaves a little weird taste in people's mouths. Because it comes off a little shady in a way.
Listen, she gave me mean girl vibes from the jump, okay?
She's like, don't worry, girl, he still likes you.
There was just Andrea came in and immediately I was like, no.
Yeah.
No. There's something about her. Nicole came in, I didn't feel that way. I was like, oh, she, I think I looked at Andrea and there was just something about her that I just was like, you just have the things are going off in your brain. You're like, ooh.
I don't know. Like, yes, I got like the slight mean girl vibe from like that originally. And then I gave her the benefit of the doubt. And I wrote it here because again, I have to document what I feel. And I basically said, it seems like part of this conversation might have been edited out.
Oh, interesting.
But it may have been awkward.
Yes.
Like maybe they were trying to have some, because it felt to me in that moment like, and it could just be because I literally date an editor and I edit this podcast. So sometimes I can tell when like a hard cut happens. And like, I feel like I kind of picked up on that. Like there was definitely more to that conversation that was had. Maybe it was more civil and like, they just don't want to show us that because they want us to only see like the mess. Because like there were even, and to support that theory, right? There were moments that like Andrea and Leah, like, yeah, they didn't show us anything of them actually speaking to each other, but like moments in particular that kind of caught my eye was like, Leah still like going up to Andrea and giving her a hug. And like when the girls were together, there were some times when like Leah was in that group with them. So it's like, I feel like they got along, but we didn't see any bad stuff between them.
No, and you're right, because jumping ahead to last night, she says to Rob, I never said a bad thing about you to her.
Yeah.
So they obviously spoke more than what we saw.
That's what that's what I think.
Yeah.
At least.
Okay.
But despite, her not being so outwardly mean to Andrea, Leah's obviously getting jealous. And it's just starting to eat her alive day by day.
Poor thing.
Minute by minute.
She was having a mental breaky.
Yep. And obviously Rob is not being all that reassuring either.
No,
like
he was making it worse.
You can tell that he had like his foot out the door. He just didn't want to be upfront with her and say it until like a certain point happened which was probably, actually, we're about to get into that now in the notes, until the dates start happening.
Oh my God, we're not even on the dates yet.
Andrea gets the text. Nicole and Andrea get to go on 2 dates. So they get to pick 2 guys to each to go on dates with. So Nicole. I'm going to do this all episode.
It's
Sorry,
okay.
guys. Nicole decides to go with Cordell.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to go fairly well.
Yes,
they kiss.
Yes, I adore Cordell. He seems like the sweetest of all sweethearts.
Mm-hmm.
And every episode just reaffirms that for me. So yeah. I'm 100% team Cordell.
I love Cordell.
I adore
He seems
him.
like a good guy.
Yes.
Good head on his shoulders.
Yes. And I said this to my mother yesterday. She was asking about him because mom has been catching. She's only watched a couple episodes, but I got her hooked not last night's, the night before's episode. She was like, she was like, how do we feel about him? She was like, he seems really washy. I'm like, no, I actually think he is really genuine, because she had said maybe something about him just being like a fuckboy, a player type, right? And I said, I don't think so, because if he wanted to be that way, he had the opportunity given who his brother is and the amount of women that he had said last week that he's had to ghost. And I think that really solidified for me, at least, that like he's not here to just fuck around, because if he wanted to, he could have strung along all of those women.
Well, you never know. At one point, he decided to ghost them. If we're gonna go look at it from all angles, right? There's always a point where he maybe took it too far and then he ghosted, and then that's kind of fucked up. But so we don't know the story of all of these ghostings.
No, I don't.
But just based off of what we've seen, right?
He seems really like he really is just out here trying to find a wifey.
Yeah. That's the vibe that I seem to be getting from him too.
He seems genuine. Like he's not. I mean, obviously they're all fucking stupid. They're all in their 20s,
and he's not really complaining all that much about kind of being friend zoned by Serena.
He took it so well, and he was and that too also just made me love him a little bit more, because he wasn't dramatic about it. He didn't try and guilt trip her. He took it in stride and just said, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. And then the whole time before then with her, he just let her go at your pace, right? And that to me is, as someone who likes to take things slow like that, that was so nice to see, because a lot of, especially on shows like this, it's 0 to 100, as you see with literally everybody.
Oh, there's stuff in my notes too that will further,
yeah. And he was just so chill of like, yeah, girl, whatever you like, however you want to go, we're gonna go, because he just like genuinely likes her.
And you don't see him actively making too many other moves on other girls either after the fact. Like he's still kind of like he's just doing him.
He's respectful of the people in the house that you can see at this point who is like at this point we know Kaylor and Aaron are on. That's it. They're set. Ain't nobody coming in here and causing trouble with those two, right? Mm-hmm. Like there's a like at this point we kind of think that Leah and Rob are kind of semi-solid. Mm-hmm. Right. At least I did at this point, even with Andrea.
At this point, the cracks I think we're starting.
The cracks are coming. Yeah. But I still assumed, even with Andrea coming in and kind of muddying the waters, I was like, I think we're okay, right? Mm-hmm. And you could see that with Cordell. He's very like, okay, I know who is. He seemed very perceptive of it. And absolutely. Very like, he could tell who liked him and who didn't. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't gonna like messy things up for the sake of like messing things up. He really likes Serena. So I think he's just kind of like
chilling,
waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nicole also then goes to pick Kendall. Mm-hmm. Their date also goes well. We actually went live after this episode.
I was like, I feel like I talked about this before. It's because we went live.
Yeah, the note that gave it away for me was Kendall and Nicole bond over old Nintendo games.
Yes, because we had a whole we even go on tangents on lives, guys.
And like, girl, everybody has played Super fucking Monkey Ball.
These are Gen Zs.
Oh, that's fucking true. So, oh my God, we're so goddamn old.
Yes and no, because these are like first Gen Zs, right? Because these are all 96 and on babies.
Oh yeah,
because my brother's or my cousin Mikey and my cousin are kind of Gen Z. They're on that cusp.
It's such a wide range. So yeah. Like, they're all between the ages of like 22 to like. Who's the oldest, like 29 or something like that? Is that Rob? I think Rob is like 28, 29.
Yes. But yes, technically these are all Gen Zers.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So
OG Gen Zs.
Well,
Zillennials, maybe.
Fuck, dude. Now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, 96 was technically...
It's like 96, 97.
Somewhere... Oh, maybe it is 97.
I think it's 97.
Oh, that's weird.
Because my brother's 27 and he is the last millennial.
I was born in... Yeah, wow. I feel weird.
Isn't that weird to think
because I'm born in 95. So I was like, oh my God, I'm literally like
You're
the
right on the
tail end of like millennials.
So, yeah, the rest of the 90s kids, anyone born the rest of the 90s, they kind of refer to as millennials because a lot of them have
like that mix, that crossover.
A lot of them have older siblings.
Yeah.
Or people, or were around us millennials. So they're like kind of, I don't really count anyone as Gen Z until, if you're 2000 and on, right? I'll even give you post 9/11 babies and on are like the Gen Z. Anyone like before that is still a millennial in my eyes.
Yeah. The way that I see our generation too, like the 95ers, we were like that last generation that grew up like pre-social media, pre-Google, pre-YouTube.
Do you remember like having to do computer lab class and they taught you how to use Ask Jeeves?
We didn't use Ask Jeeves.
You didn't learn Ask Jeeves?
I went into New York public schools, remember, around that time. I was living in Brooklyn still.
That's right.
And
I was here.
Well, Long Island too. Because I was actually, I had already moved to Long Island by the time we did computer classes. We used Microtype Pro.
Interesting.
For like typing and stuff.
Oh, this is like one of my only elementary school memories is sitting in our computer lab with those big ass box computers. And they were teaching us how to Google shit, but we weren't using Google. We were using Ask Jeeves because it was like a kid-friendly search engine.
Oh, and you guys were smart.
And the only thing that I would do that entire class was just tap on the computer on his hat, because if you clicked on his hat, you could change his hat.
That's
so
the
funny.
Entire
time, the whole computer lab is the only thing I remember of elementary school was you just heard repetitively 27 times because there's 27 kids in my class. That's and so everyone funny. Is just clicking on Jeeves's hat.
Yeah, we had Microtype Pro, and if anybody else was in the New York school system, or maybe even outside, I don't know who else was using it outside of New York, but we used the Microtype Pro, and one of the games was like hitting space asteroids with like the specific keys on the keyboard, and you had to hold your hands in like a certain position. Not that anybody does that now.
I
was also one of the last classes to ever learn how to write script, like hand write script.
Cursive, yeah.
Like they don't do that anymore.
Do you remember the like computer leapfrog games?
Yeah, I loved the leapfrog games.
The music one. Like, and then there was, oh my God, there's like 3 of them, and I had all 3, but I just remember like the jazz music one.
Yeah. I remember, I know exactly which one you're talking about. Yes. I think if we're talking about the same thing. Yes, loved that shit. And like, there was also Freddy Fish.
Yes.
Recently, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. But pivot, guys, sorry, tangent. Pivot. This was not even that long ago too. This was probably within the last like few months.
Okay.
I was feeling really nostalgic for like Freddy Fish, and I made Max watch with me like complete playthroughs of certain like Freddy Fish games.
I think you can get them on your...
They're on YouTube. Or are you saying the actual game? Shut the fuck up.
Okay, I can't remember who showed this to me. It was either my nail tech, a client at work, or it was on TikTok. It was one of those 3, right? I can't remember who, and I apologize if it was my nail tech or my clients. Okay, guys, if it was you, I'm so sorry. You can play them on your iPad, on your phone. Yes, she had a whole folder. I really do think it was TikTok. Of like,
oh my God,
like all the Freddy Fish games.
Stop.
Yes, you can like get them. It's like when you find. It's also there's an archive website that you can play all the old school My Scene and Barbie games.
What?
Yes.
Stop.
Yes. You remember the baby one where you could like feed the baby and like dress it up? Like all of those games. I'm like 90. There's an archive website somewhere you can play all of those.
Even My Scene, like that was hidden in like a real deep dark depth of my brain.
My Scene dolls. I had them.
Oh my God, wait. And then last one, I swear. There was also the Barbie computer game with the genie in the bottle, and it literally gave you the bottle.
Yes! Oh my God.
I loved that shit. Anyways.
Back to Love Island
for a second. Andrea, then for her dates, picks Rob and Aaron, which honestly at this point completely forgot that she even had much interest in Aaron.
If you didn't bring that up, I never would have thought of it.
Because she was so attached to Rob by that first date.
To Rob. She was even attached to Rob on this. She really didn't give Aaron that much. Did they? Did they kiss on this date?
Yes, they did.
Yes. Okay. But then he immediately went and told Kayla, where it's like, I kissed her. I didn't like it.
Pretty much. Yeah.
That was a very cute moment because he's like, it wasn't like going with you.
Mm-hmm.
It was very sweet.
They're hooked.
They're pretty much hook, line, sinker, done.
But as far as like their conversations go, the only key things that I really picked up, aside from like when her and Rob kissed and he's like looking back at Cordell and Nicole and was like, keep it to yourselves. Don't say anything. Yeah.
Oh, I got so mad about that.
Oh,
that was so gross.
Just so he can literally go back and tell everybody but her, so that
Disgusting.
Eventually Nicole ends up or I think it was Nicole. Somebody ended up telling Leah before he did, so he's still a scumbag.
I think it was Nicole.
But anyway, and then the only thing I picked up from Andrea and Aaron's conversation was, and we talked about this when we went on our live, but Andrea and Aaron talk about having kids and that Aaron wants to adopt. As it comes off, he probably meant it in a different context, but his wording was probably really bad. But essentially, it came off as like he really just wanted to adopt solely for the sake of rescuing somebody. Like,
yes, we talked about this on live, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Yes, so I was like, it's one thing, right, to want to adopt because you see that the foster care system is like complete shit, and you just actually want to make somewhat of a difference. But it came out as like, I just want to save this human being, like they're one of my like action figures.
Yeah, like it's a puppy at the pound.
Yeah. Seeing more of Aaron though now, I don't get that vibe.
No, I think I think it was very similar to like Hannah, where they just used the wrong wording. Yeah.
Came off really weird. But yeah, that was just a summed up version really of their dates. There wasn't really all that much to it. But obviously at this point we see that Rob is clearly a fuck boy. Yeah,
the only takeaway I had from that was I really enjoyed Kendall and Nicole.
And they were vibing.
And Rob and Andrea on that date really just would have just really sour taste in my mouth. The two of them just immediately, I was like, ew.
Gives the ick.
It gave me the ick right away.
I feel like she mostly gave everybody the ick because Rob was giving everybody the ick. So it kind of just comes off more as like, ew, like, why are you even like giving him the time of day? But because like we know something she didn't know, and like I don't know, that was so. Like I said, at this stage, I'm still giving her the benefit of the doubt. I didn't really see much wrong with her.
Yeah, no. At that moment, Andrea is still just a cute little bombshell that came in that liked a boy.
Pretty much. Yeah.
The more I see of her, though, the less I liked it.
So everybody comes back from their dates. The boys debrief about their dates, and this is when Rob tells pretty much all the guys that he kissed Andrea. He doesn't know how to go about telling Leah about it, but he wants to tell her about it. So at least he wants to tell her about it.
I don't really think he did. I think he was saying that to say that.
Maybe. Because, I mean, listen, he ended up ultimately not being the one to tell her first, so.
Because if you really wanted to tell her, you would tell her immediately.
Like right away.
Right away. Like, spoiler alert, when Nicole kissed Miguel, she was immediately going to tell him, and then everything blew up in their faces. But as soon as the dust had settled, she goes over and she tells Kendall. Like, that's what Rob should have done from the get-go. Got back from his date and pulled Leah aside and say, right? Because
this happened. This is how the date went.
I just got back from the date. This is how it went. This is what we talked about. This is what happened. We kissed.
Yep.
And then reassure her.
Yep. This is where my feelings are at.
Yes.
But he knew he wasn't going to reassure her.
No.
He knew.
No, because then he says some really fucked up shit. Like 20 minutes from now.
Yep. Nicole and Andrea basically debrief by themselves. They don't even tell the rest of the girls.
No, which I wasn't mad about because they did just come in together. They've only been in the house for maybe like 24 hours.
And not to mention they did these dates together.
Yes.
They were literally sitting like 30 fucking feet away from each other.
It was very weird, guys.
I didn't like that.
No, because the other thing I don't like is they don't edit out the smooching sounds.
I hate that.
I hate it.
It's so gross.
I hate it. Oh, I hate it. It activates the neurospice in me.
Like, you can easily cut out that audio.
That's what I'm saying. You can cut it out. It's one of those things.
You can put something else in. You can Frankenbit something, you know?
It's one of the parts of the show that really gives me the ick. Right up there with, like, the dates being right there. like, and you're literally just like making out in the full view of like everybody.
I find it so weird too that
Mhm.
like we don't mind or care about the sounds of like the kisses that like we give to like our partners and
No,
stuff.
other people's.
But it's having to hear other people's that feels skeevy.
Yes.
Like it's strange.
Okay, it's like in the kissing booth challenge, which we come up to in a bit, they edited out
Thank God.
majority of the kissing sounds. So they can do it.
Yeah.
I don't have to sit here and watch Rob and Andrea in soul ties
Yeah.
smooching it up. I don't want to hear the sounds, okay? I barely want to hear it myself.
Like we can pick up on clues. We can see them making
I can
out.
see
we don't
it.
need to hear
I don't
it
need
too.
to hear it. Put my precious little voiceover guy over it. Let him say some quirky little things about it.
Yep. So episode 7 ends pretty much there with the
Mhm.
cliffhanger of like, okay, what next, right?
Yes.
So then we go into episode 8. Episode 8 is just picking up right back after the date. So
Mhm.
they're really doing a good job at just like
Mhm.
not even finishing the night, and then we pick up from the rest of that night.
Yeah.
The girls finally catch up with Andrea and Nicole about their dates. So Andrea was the one to tell the group of girls
Mhm.
that, they kissed.
Mhm.
Kaylor and Leah both walk away because they're both like, what the fuck?
Mhm.
Our men kissed like
Mhm.
those girls.
I think this, not knowing what we know, what happens now, like this is one of the moments that bleeds into later
Mm-hmm.
when they're talking about who to send home. I think this is one of those moments because this was very I don't know, I didn't like the way they approached it. It was like braggy. Like, hey, guess what we did?
I guess, but it also like at the same time like you were gonna have to debrief what happened on the date,
Well, yeah.
At least they were being like my big thing was okay. I mean, they were being honest about it. Not really their fault. They have
No.
to.
Yeah.
They could have chosen not to.
They could have. I don't know. It could have been maybe a little more delicate.
Yeah, I guess. So you could have, I guess, just been like, hey, listen, we kissed. I don't know if they told you.
Exactly.
I don't know.
I don't know.
This is a very unique situation.
It is, and it's like I don't know how do you approach it
like
without.
It's a game,
Yes,
At
the
end of the day.
anxious attachment in me could never do shit like this because like I can't even handle hearing about your past relationships. I could not handle my
about who else you're talking to in the same moments.
I could not handle knowing that you just kissed a girl 20 minutes ago, but I'm still supposed to think that no.
Mhm.
Couldn't do it. I am so monogamous. It's not even funny.
I would hate it.
I would hate it. I could never do something like this.
Yeah, Leah basically talks about in a confessional, and I felt this was like a fake out because I was like, oh, she's being so mature about it, and she said like, she's trying not to be petty and doesn't want to be pissed off because like at the end of the day, she knows what she's signed up for. It's early days, babe.
Oh my God, when Liv said that last night, I cackled because I just thought of you. She's like, it's still early days. And I was like, oh my God, Taylor.
I was like, thank God somebody finally said it.
Yeah.
Kendall tells Hannah that he and Nicole kissed, and this is kind of where like Kendall and Hannah kind of have their little break.
Mm-hmm.
But they do it.
Oh my God, Hannah's still here.
But they did it in such a amicable way, like not in like a Serena and Cordell sense, but like you see them talking to each other,
Yes.
like the three of them later.
Yes.
And I was like, honestly, I changed my mind about Hannah. I actually like her.
And she really got me towards towards these moments. I was like, I kind of started to see her a little differently. I felt like I was like, oh, okay, actually, she's a little more, can't think of the word.
Yeah.
Brain cell it. You know what I'm talking about.
So this is kind of what we were just talking about earlier. Aaron and Kaylor chat. I know there was a chat between Cordell and Nicole in between. Doesn't matter. They just had a date.
Yeah.
Aaron and Kaylor chat. This is when he tells her everything. Talks about the kiss. Talks about how he's feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But he started like weirdly comparing the two of them, like Andrea and Kaylor.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that to be a little weird. I'd be like, don't tell her about that. Like you can think those things to yourself, but don't tell her like what you're comparing between the two of them. That's a little weird. That would bring up a lot of insecurities too. I mean, Kaylor seems like she moved past it pretty quick, but I couldn't do it.
No, again, I have anxious attachment. You can't do that to me.
Yeah. Rob and Leah, they chat again. Didn't even care about the fact that Leah found out about the kiss from Andrea. And he was just like, oh, like, that's fair that you feel that way. And it's like, oh, That's fair. You made a whole stink about like an hour ago that you didn't want anybody to tell her. And yet the girl that you were kissing, who you said that right in front of, went off and told her. And your response is when she's pissed, that's fair? Yeah, obviously it's fair. We just, like, you didn't have to say it.
He didn't care at this point.
His foot was, like, on the other side out the door, and then his other foot was, like, right behind it.
That's why I said that's fair, because he had already decided after that date that he was done. And he had already made up his mind.
Yep.
That he thought he found something better.
Yep.
So he didn't care.
Yeah. At this point, it was still up in the air. Like, Rob was very sure that he did not want to be with Leah anymore, but he wasn't outright saying it.
And which is why, past me when watching this was very like, maybe there's, right? Everything I just said is present day Sarah thinking back on what happened. But past Sarah watching this episode like live, I was like, didn't like what he said, but I still had a glimmer of hope.
Yeah, because again, it's still early days, babe.
Early days, babe.
And like they did have a connection, so that connection doesn't just go away. He was just trying to see who can get his dick wet, and we'll talk more about that later. Because,
yes. The my little narrator though had the funniest thing last night.
Gross.
Yeah.
But everybody at this point afterwards is just trying to talk Leah off the edge. She's full on spiraling.
You know what? I, in the moment, was like, girl, calm the fuck down. But now thinking back on it, I'm like, oh, no, her intuition was going off. Like, her insides were like, her brain was telling her, like, the lights were going off in her head.
Yep. So, I guess while everybody was trying to talk her off the ledge, Rob was in the middle of a conversation with Andrea at Soul Ties. Or Soul Ties.
Soul Ties.
And Leah interrupts their chat, right?
Oh, my God, yeah.
So they can finally have like another argument about what was being said. And I clocked Rob had told Leah and Andrea different things because he told Andrea at this point that he wants to see things through with her.
Yes.
But then I think he said something with Leah along the lines of like, you know, that we still have a connection.
Yeah.
And I'm not really over it. I don't remember what he said at this point, but I know he was sending mixed messages because he did it with Liv earlier
because he wants to have his cake and eat it too. He wanted both ladies because
I think he wants Leah as like wifey material. He wants Andrea to fuck. That's my thought. That was my theory here.
With you,
because like I think
knowing what we know now, 100%,
Leah would be endgame completely, and like Andrea is just like the pretty little younger side piece.
It feels very like I want to settle down, but I'm not quite ready yet. So you have to wait for me so I can still go get my rocks off for a little bit with these fun girls, and then I'll be right back. And
then Leah is pretty reasonably pissed off because it's like, okay, now this is the second time you're like throwing me away here because you weren't really being all that upfront with Liv. You were making it seem like you wanted a future with her, even though you actually wanted me. So that's one time. And then now with Andrea, after we were practically brain celling together, and now all of a sudden you're like out, you're done with it. Yeah. So she's pissed, and Rob is somehow the one crying about it, and he's like, "You don't ask me how I feel."
Is this when he jumps in the pool?
Yeah, this was the one that he ended up going in the pool and just hiding behind the pool walls, which I didn't know you could do that.
He's a fucking toddler.
It was so
He's got the overalls. He's got the overalls to prove he's a toddler.
But at this point, from this point forward, mind you, he starts eyeballing the camera. I don't know if you noticed that, but he's making direct eye contact with camera at certain points for the remaining episodes.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to basically act like he's in a soap opera. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, is Rob auditioning for something here? Like, is he trying to become an actor? Because he seems to be pulling out those stops.
He wants to be an influencer as fuck. He's in this for the fame and the money. He's not in this. He's not in this for love.
No. I don't think he's in it for love at all.
No.
He's in it because it's a free trip to Fiji. He gets to sleep with some beautiful girls.
And at the end of it, he has an option of getting like money.
Absolutely. So officially, Rob dumps her, and he plays sad boy.
Isn't Rob Casa Amor from last year?
He was in Casa Amor from last year, but he didn't make it into the villa.
Okay. Oh, so that's okay. There we go. There's even more evidence that this man is in it to be on television.
Probably. And obviously we don't know what happened in Casa Amor last season, so like we don't know what went on with Rob's. If you watched it last season, definitely let us know in the comments because we want to be caught up We want to know why he did not make it into the villa if they do tell us about it.
Yes. Well, my bestie, I was talking to Caroline about it the last couple of days. And she's watched Love Island.
Okay.
And she really was like, I was saying to her that I liked Leah and Rob, and she's like, no, Rob is in it to be on TV. And I was like, no, I don't think so. And she goes, well, she knew as soon as he came back on the show that she was like, oh, he's not sincere.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like, and now I agree with her.
Casa Amor was probably only a couple episodes. I feel like we could easily pull it up at some point.
Probably could.
Just for like old time. Just
but
for funsies.
As a former viewer, her immediate reaction to Rob being back was, oh no.
Here we go.
Fame Hungry is back.
Well, that's plenty of confirmation on what we need. Serena sets up camp for her and Leah. Oh, this is when they sleep in soul ties.
Oh, this was so freaking sweet. And she goes over to Cordell and is like, I'm going to go sleep with
Leah tonight.
And he was like, okay, yeah.
Because Leah can't be bothered to stay in the same bed
I
as
wouldn't
him.
sleep in the same bed as that man.
I wouldn't
no.
either. And that's how you know Serena is a girl's girl.
I fucking adore her.
Girl's girl.
Yes.
Just all the reasons just keep piling up as to why Serena's like the favorite.
I had one moment with her where I was a little peeved, and it comes when Miguel comes in.
Okay.
When Miguel the egg thing.
Oh, okay.
That really irked me. She got a little too angry.
A little feisty.
But overall, Serena and Cordell are like, and Kendall, I think, are some of like the best at like being a good friend to everybody.
Yeah.
You know, they're like very much there for everyone.
They're good support systems.
They are.
So now we're heading towards the end of that night.
Okay.
And then we go into day 8.
Okay.
We are now past the 1 week mark.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Okay. So we're in the morning of the next day. Janae joins Leah and Serena in soul ties.
They have a cuddle puddle.
They do have a little cuddle puddle, which was really cute.
The friendships on this show are just...
They had me a little nervous at first, like in the midweek there.
Yeah.
They had me a little nervous that it was going to fall apart for a second.
But it's holding strong, even last night. They're holding strong.
It's amazing. I hope it stays that way.
They have their moments, and then they talk about it and move on.
Yep. And the guys then rally around Rob in the bed.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to comfort each other at this point because they went through like this devastating breakup. Rob says at one point, I want to say it was during a confessional or with the guys, whichever
Has the recoupling happened yet?
No, it hasn't even happened yet.
Okay.
But he's basically like, I don't even cry all that much. But I was like, evidently you do. Like,
Drama
even if
king.
it's to fit like a narrative that you're trying to paint
It's
here.
giving Tom Sandoval fake tears in his closet. Exactly.
Fake tears in the closet. And yeah, so I was just like, this guy really strikes me as somebody who's like, willing to play up like he's this big tough guy. Yeah. He doesn't get cry all that much, but I have a feeling he's very sensitive. I think he's a very sensitive man baby.
People like him, absolutely. People like him are the most insecure people you will ever meet. They put on a tough act, and they're alpha and they're the best and I'm so hot and I'm blah 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 but inside they're like crumbling.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Their confidence is fake as fuck.
Yeah. Then I think this is at one point too where I think we're starting to see the friendship of Aaron and Leah start to blossom because Aaron, first time out of many times to later come, that he goes in to check on Leah, post breakup.
He does it with a lot of the ladies, I find. Aaron is the more the show goes on, the more Aaron...
He's friends with everybody.
More Aaron and Kendall check in with the girls more than sometimes their own partners do. They're very much to be like, how you doing? You doing okay? You guys okay? Like, what can we do? Do you want to talk about it? Like, because at one point somebody has I forget which girl it is, but she pulls Kendall aside it was Leah.
Probably Leah.
She pulled Kendall aside to explain what Rob says. It was like a boy decipher what this man just said to me. Yeah. We get to that, but yes. Yeah. Aaron and I really just adore the way that Aaron just goes and checks on all the ladies.
Yeah. It's very nice. It's sweet.
Yeah.
He later does it with Janae too.
It's just so wholesome. In the midst of all the chaos and the dirt and the grossness, you have these wholesome moments of the besties and everyone going around like, you Gucci?
Like, you good?
You good?
You know you're sexy, right?
Yeah, that's so fucking sweet.
We see more of Rob and Andrea. They're really like swooning over each other. I mean, listen, there's no doubt that they have a connection, but I still think on Rob's end it's more of a physical one than like an actual like intellectual and emotional one.
Absolutely. And this too is I think where I really start getting iffy with Andrea, because these are the moments where she should be forming relationships with the ladies as well.
She should be forming relationships with literally everyone,
with everybody,
not just Rob.
But she is so Rob focused. It's giving Sheena. It's
Sheena.
Rob.
I bought him
Rob.
Oh my god!
Rob.
Every time Leah specifically mentions Rob, I'm like Rob.
He hung the TV in 7 minutes.
Stop that! Stop that! I had to stop myself from saying that.
I love it here. No, but like literally, that's what Andrea was giving the whole time.
I know. Yeah.
It was just like, this is the moment. And I think if she had done this, it would save her later.
Yeah.
Maybe not all the way, but it would have.
You know what, though? Having a relationship with the girls would have saved her.
It would have, because these were the moments that you should have been, because Nicole was doing it. Mm-hmm. Nicole was out here having 2 guys that she's in between deciding on, and she is, you know, talking to the ladies. She's forming relationships and bonds outside of, because you have to remember too, like they are here to find a connection, but it is at the same time still a dating game show, more or less. Mm-hmm. Like you still need allies of some sort.
Exactly.
And she wasn't doing that.
They didn't know about that twist yet.
They didn't. They didn't, but you should still go in there and form bonds with not just the guy that you are interested in, because you don't know what's going to happen, and you need allies to back you up. Yeah. Case in point, what happens later on.
Yeah, we'll get there. Serena at this point is now starting to realize, like, oh shit, maybe I do like Cordell after all.
Oh my god, because we didn't even get to the kissing booth yet.
No, we have. We're not even there yet. But because now at this point, right, with Cordell, as we were saying earlier, taking his time, let her move at her own pace. Mm-hmm. You know, Serena at one point says, you know, I kind of need space. Mm-hmm. Remember, he was so confident in their relationship, and she's like, I need space. Yeah. But now that they've had a singular day or 2 singular days of space, now she's like, oh, actually, he went on that date with Nicole. Maybe he is desirable after all.
Yeah, I think
that's what it was. She saw somebody else with him and was like, not ready to give that up yet.
But you know what though? I think she needed that, because I think she was so in her head about it, and you could see it that whole week, that first week with them together. She was putting so much pressure on it that it was like she needed to step back and see him starting to form other connection. Be like, wait a minute.
She was like giving herself an ick.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes. Yeah. Which I almost did until you knocked me upside the head. It happens to this happens to the best of us, okay? Sometimes you overthink it and you start giving yourself like, ugh. But then the besties got to come in and be like, girl,
like, get your head out of your ass.
Get your head out of your head. Get out of your own head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Janae here is starting to play matchmaker.
Yes.
And she goes up to Cordell to talk about what she and Serena had just talked about when it came to her wanting Cordell again. Mm-hmm. And she goes off to what feels like immediately, because that's just how it was edited.
Yes.
But it looks like she just immediately emerges from her conversation with Serena and then goes up to Cordell to be like, hey, listen, you're back on her radar. You might be getting out of the friend zone, dude.
This saved the shit out of Serena, though. It Janae shaved the shit out of Serena.
Janae's a good friend.
She is, because I think she knew that she had to do that, because you could see, all of a sudden Cordell was like, well, because I think at that point he had almost closed the door. Mm-hmm. And then I think if Janae didn't do that, then he would have.
Yeah.
And Janae, I said, that was a good friend move. She really went over and saved her bestie's ass.
Yeah. Well, who else was Cordell going to get with at that point in time?
Well, I don't know, but you could tell when going into the recoupling later that he was unsure. And then I think if Janae hadn't said that, I think it could have gone a completely different way.
That's true. It could have gone south. Mm-hmm. Go into the villa party, Andrea and Nicole then catch up. You know, again, we really just see the two of them being each other's only friends at the moment because they're still new. Hakeem gets a text. They have to meet at the fire pit. Andrea and Nicole. Oh, and this is when Andrea and Nicole get to choose their men.
Here we go.
They meet at the fire pit. Andrea and Nicole get to choose the guys that they couple up with.
Oh, this was so dramatic.
Oh, shit. Yep.
Yes.
So Kendall gets a text
and
says, and it basically says something along the lines of, the boys who want to couple up with Andrea and Nicole have to stand by the fire pit. So Cordell, Kendall, and Hakeem all stand up at the same time. They go. And then, like, there's that dramatic pause. And then all of a sudden, a few seconds later, Rob just turns to Leah and goes, I'm sorry. And then he gets up. And again, keeping up with this, like, dramatic, like, putting on a show kind of attitude. Because he's, like, trying to pretend like he was sitting there and deliberating.
He wasn't.
Whether or not he actually wanted to.
He decided after that date, and he was just playing the field until he could get to this.
And then he knew he wanted to make it look like he was really struggling to make this decision when the decision was already made.
No, that whole moment was so icky. I'm sorry.
It was really gross.
It's so icky.
Yep. So Connor and Aaron stay with their partners, of course, and at the time it's Aaron and Kaylor, Connor and Janae, because he and Janae are still kind of vibing at this point. Rob, again, I said, I wrote that Rob is clearly the sad boy star of this episode because he basically was trying to pretend as if this like was eating him up inside when it wasn't. Andrea chooses to couple up with Rob, no surprise.
And this is when Leah just mouths "fuck you" across the fire pit to him.
Nicole chooses Kendall. Rob and Leah have like that physical exchange across the fire pit.
Yep. A very dramatic fuck you to Rob, and then Rob going, wow.
But even before that happens, right? Because you see Leah kind of looking around the fire pit and she's like trying to stay quiet, and all the girls are like the devil on her shoulder, and they're just like, nah, say it. Say how you feel.
Yeah.
And Liv was just like, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, I love Liv.
Like, who the fuck cares?
Yes.
And then she says,
fuck you. Yeah.
She was gonna just not say anything at first.
No, so he deserved to hear that shit because that was fucking gross.
And he does like that annoying, like he rolls his eyes.
Yeah, his version. Like, wow.
Like, wow, you're really gonna react like that?
Yeah, dude. Because you just spent a whole 24 hours telling her that you were still in it, that your connection was still so strong,
like that you're her number one.
Yeah, you weren't. If this is the thing, I think she wouldn't have reacted this way if he had said, right? If he had just been honest, like our connection is there, but I am feeling something with her, and if I have the opportunity, I'm going to take it, but that doesn't take away
from my feelings
for you. If he had worded it like that, and she knew going into the recoupling that, because I really feel like she went into this recoupling blind because he wasn't being 100% clear.
Exactly.
And if he had been, I don't think she would have reacted that way.
No. I don't think she would have. She would have been more mature than that.
And she would have anticipated it a little bit more.
Now this boy has sent her on a downward spiral.
Oh, she goes real fast.
Like, we no longer see the Leah that we used to know in that first week's episode.
She's overtaken by
She's got a demon.
Whoa. Brain cell.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the end of episode 8. So now we go into episode 9. And episode 9 is where Andrea and Nicole, we're picking up right after they chose their men. Cordell and Hakeem get a text to sit the fuck back down.
Yep.
And even Liv was just like, that's right, sit down. Because at this point, they're not getting along.
No.
The two of them.
No.
And things are only about to erupt with them.
I feel like we're so many missing things between Liv and Hakeem.
They have not showed us nearly enough things of Liv and Hakeem.
Because I swear to God, that shit came out of nowhere.
Like, I knew, right? We knew that there were being seeds planted that Hakeem wasn't really feeling that Liv really liked him all that much.
Yes.
And that was clear. We saw no chemistry between them.
I didn't think they really liked each other, but there was...
And what came off for me was when they did have a conversation, I guess, like at an earlier point, and basically he was saying like, oh, like, I just want you to be able to think of me at some point, maybe make me breakfast, like it sounded like, I don't, whatever. Maybe he just wanted to see that the feelings were being reciprocated and that was his way of reaching.
Yeah.
But we'll get into it. We're getting ahead. But Leah and Hannah are now single. The group disperses.
Yes.
And this is where I said this just started spiraling for the rest of the night.
With good reason.
Yeah, at this point she's pissed. At this point she's really
that
pissed.
Man, I don't like to use gaslighting that often, but he gaslit the shit out of her.
He did. Literally trying to make her out to be the bad guy because, like, she was getting mad at the fact that he wasn't being fucking honest with her. Yeah. She straight up called him a liar. Like,
he lied. He literally sat there after his date and was like, we kissed, but like it's not a big deal. Like, I still love you, babe.
Right. And then just expected her to be okay with it and still like chase him. It's gross. It's grody.
It's so grody.
Very grody. The girls are basically talking in like their what do you even call that room where they get ready at, like their makeup room or wherever.
Closet.
Yeah, like their closet. And they're all going over just how dramatic he was being.
I know what I love about Off Point. You know what I love about the villa? It is such Barbie dream house vibes.
Yeah, it looks really fun.
Like that whole closet makeup room, it just gives Barbie dream house.
I wonder,
every time I look at it, every time they're in there, I'm like, God, dreams.
I wonder if you can rent that villa on Airbnb.
Imagine
how lit
girl, I'd get my passport real fast.
Right? Like, let's go off to Fiji and just have a week inside the villa.
It looks so fun.
Like, you wouldn't even have to go anywhere else.
I would just stay in the villa. I thought of this last night, or technically today when I was watching today's episode. Some of the girls have acrylics, right? Mm-hmm. And you're in there for a long time.
Yes.
I have questions.
I noticed. And you see how grown out their fingernails are. Like,
do they go out and get their nails done by someone in town? Do they have somebody come in?
Nope. I think they just get them done before they leave.
And then just like pray and hope that their acrylics stay on for however fucking long they're in this house. I thought about this last night because I just got mine redone. And I'm like sitting here like 4 weeks is a long time that I go 4 weeks. And that grow out we're pushing it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine going longer than that. But I thought about that last night. I was like, where are they getting their nails done? Do they get their nails done?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't think so.
That's a question I have.
I don't think they do because you don't see their nails change at all, you know?
No, I wonder that.
Leah says that she does not give a fuck, but she does in fact definitely give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Rob and Andrea talk at Soul Ties. Rob basically says the same things to Andrea that he would say to Leah. Basically just saying, you're my number one and I care about you and this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. So they make out.
It's really gross because it's just makes everything that he was doing with Lee, the way that they were sneaking off together when he was with Liv, it just taints everything.
Yeah. And it's all for show.
And it makes me feel icky and sad.
Yeah. It's sad. Like, it is sad.
You had this whole sweet, like, you were with Liv, but you guys were sneaking off, and because you just couldn't get it. Like, it just, and then here you are now, like, repeating the exact same. It is the same playbook, and he just, right back to the beginning.
Flipped it, yeah. This is when Hakeem and Liv get into their blowout fight. And Liv says that he's making all of these rules for her.
Where the fuck did this
And it's like,
from?
where were these rules? When were these conversations had? I did not pick up on any of this. So I was like, I'm missing something.
We literally were Snapchatting each other like, what the fuck did that happen?
Yeah.
Like, where did that come from?
I was like, who, what?
Hakeem, I swear to God, he did like a 180 on me.
I was like, wait, he said at first that she wasn't putting in any effort. I don't recall there being rules involved.
No.
And then like, she couldn't even form words at one point because she was so pissed off.
Yes, it really felt like all of a sudden I got like a personality transplant.
Yeah.
I literally was watching this man and I'm like, who is this?
Right.
It did not feel like it was Hakeem.
And it's like, why are you, first of all, haven't you been coupled up for like only a couple days?
It's so weird. This fight came out of nowhere. I was so confused.
So weird. So safe to say they won't be recoupling.
No.
The girls go to console Liv because she's upset, reasonably
she should
so. Janae and Connor are chatting, and Connor basically tells Janae that he wants to see what can happen with Leah. So this is Connor being completely upfront. So I know Janae makes these arguments like he wasn't.
He was, though.
He wasn't, but like he did tell her.
I think she didn't take him seriously, and that's why she feels blindsided because I don't think she believed him.
I think I have an idea of what could have happened.
Okay.
And that it could have been like a form of miscommunication of some sort.
I think so. Yeah, I really just think because he was very honest. Like, I really want to get to know her. Like, and he told her point blank right there on the couch. Like, I just think she was kind of like, okay, fine, whatever, but didn't think that he would like Leah as much as he ends up liking Leah.
Yeah. And then the issue there becomes, right, like he was really only with Janae because Leah was with Rob. So he didn't even bother trying to shoot a shot with Leah, even though he could have. And who knows what would have happened then, right? But he chose to sit back. He didn't bother with it because of her relationship with Rob, and she was so invested in it. So there was that. And this is where I was like, this is when I started getting nervous because I was like, oh my God, no, please don't come after this friendship. Please don't ruin the friendship. God, this is making me nervous.
Yes. Oh my God. Literally, I was like panicking. I was like, oh my God, here's the fracture. Here's the fracture in the girls. This is it. This is the moment. Yeah. The Barbie dream house is dead.
Yep. And then we see Connor talking to Leah. He's consoling her about the whole thing that went on with Rob, and he's all like, "Rob's my friend, man, but like I feel bad about what's going on because now I feel bad trying to go after you." And it was a weird conversation.
It was.
But Janae gets very upset watching Connor talk to Leah, and then this is when she goes on that tangent, being like, "Do I have to learn about plants? Like I can't believe I have to fucking learn about plants."
That was okay. I actually thought that entire scene was adorable and funny because you've got Aaron, right? Aaron over here going, that plant is called this. Tell him that.
Yeah.
And the boys are trying so hard to calm her down, and everyone in that scene was just so, but it just felt so real.
Because, like, I can't believe we're talking about fucking plants.
Like, who hasn't had a weird spiral like that? We were like, I had to learn how to do this. I don't even know what this means. Oh my God. And it was just so cute. And I felt so bad at the same time, but I was like, this is so fucking real right now.
It's gold.
It was golden. I really just enjoyed Erin being like, you see that plant right there? That one's called this. And then she was like, you better not be wrong.
Right. And then this is when Serena and Cordell then talk about being back on the radar. So he's like, I'm about to get out of the friend zone.
So sweet.
So now,
so funny.
That's the end of day 8. And now we go into day 9.
Yeah.
Aaron, Kendall, and Connor make Liv breakfast so they can apologize on behalf of Hakeem, which I thought was so cute.
So I'm telling, the boys are they're just
so nice and considerate.
Yes.
So kind.
So kind.
Aaron, I think, is like the most consistent too with like his kindness.
Yes, and
Kendall.
Yes, Kendall and Aaron. And even when Aaron has a moment later on, he immediately right after, once he's calmed down, like comes in and apologizes, and like it's just I adore him.
Respect.
Yes. Him and Kendall are like my favorite boys in the whole house.
I know. They're fun. Rob and Andrea have breakfast on the floor, probably in full view of whoever they want watching them. Probably Leah, who, by the way, is still going on about Rob.
As she should.
Yeah, yes, but at the same time, I'm going to go back to the fact that we're only 9 days in, so it's still early days.
Yes, but it would be no different. Kaylor would have the same reaction. Like, to this point, she really thought her and Rob were endgame.
But Aaron hasn't done this with Kaylor already. You know what I mean? Rob has already kind of done this with her. Not by his choice because he was stolen, but like...
when he was, though, he was still putting in an effort with her. He was sneaking away. They went to the dock. Like, this whole time, she was like, he'll come back to me. I'm not going to lose him.
Yeah, I guess.
I kind of understood it.
I guess I was just also kind of like, start talking to people. Like,
yeah,
you know?
It's like she's justified, but then also she kind of has a hypocrisy moment later on with Janae. But it's kind of one of those things I think you have to just take. The atmosphere is way different than like dating IRL, right? Like it is 9 days, but they're so your brain is already thinking differently than you would in like the real world. So you have no outside connection.
If like the Rob, Leah, and Andrea situation happened in real life, right? Rob probably would have ghosted Leah.
Exactly.
And Leah still would have gone on and on about him and stuff. Yeah. While Rob is with like Andrea.
I just think it's like the only people you're socializing with is in that house
bubble. Yeah.
You have no outside perspective, right? So these 9 days are like you're so immersed in it by like day 3 that you're just like you're not thinking like what outside of a thing like this. You know what I mean? Like a normal person after 9 days with a guy is not going to be this upset that he ghosted her or picked somebody else, right? You're just going to be like, ew, what a dick. And then you move on.
Yeah.
Right?
True. Connor and Leah are having a conversation in the kitchen, and then Janae's like pissed because they're having a conversation in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
She too now is starting to spiral a little bit.
Again, I really think it's like the villa is getting to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because now it's like they have to see these things.
Mm-hmm.
It has to happen like right in front of them. So I can't imagine that. Like
No,
fun.
and you have to think too, it's like not only are they living together, but they're sleeping next to these people. That is a very intimate thing that you're doing from the jump.
It's like adult summer camp.
Yes, but like, I don't know, sleeping with somebody, I feel like in the even with, let's take the, not even in the context of like spicy sleeping together, like you're legitimately just sleeping next to somebody, like that's super, like you don't do that with everybody.
That's true.
So like that, there's already an intimacy growing from the jump because you have to share a bed.
That's true.
Like, so again, this is outside of here. I'd be like, girl, go take like a Xanax, like calm the fuck down.
Right? Like just go back out there and meet somebody else.
But here you're like, they're in the same bed. Like there's no access to anything outside of this. Like it's a whole different.
They're all sharing living quarters.
Yeah.
Rob and Leah sit down. They have a conversation at the fire pit, which just turns into a whole other argument because Rob essentially is like just gaslighting her.
It's
basically
disgusting.
saying that, oh, like you didn't care about my feelings. But meanwhile, she's like, hello, I cared enough about your feelings to allow you to explore these connections.
Yes.
The least you could have done was just be fucking honest with me about your feelings.
No. Oh, and then in this whole thing, he's essentially just like, well, I wasn't really attracted to you anyway, so it's fine.
So gross.
So gross. Yeah. Because then she goes off with Kendall, and he's like, what did he mean by this? And Kendall's just like, girl, you're sexy as fuck. What are you talking about?
Right. Who's sexy?
Who's sexy?
I'm sexy. Who's sexy? Yeah.
I love him so much.
They pan over to Connor and Leah on one side. So basically, we see two different things on the villa. One side is Connor and Leah just bonding over SpongeBob. And then the other side is Janae venting to Kaylor and Serena that Connor was going to dump her for Leah. And like even like Janae is trying to be very level-headed about the situation because she's like, Leah's got a great personality. Like I know that it just sounds like she's just got a little insecurity issue in this moment.
Well, I mean, I don't blame her. She's had a rough go at making a connection so far.
Yeah, that's true with Coy and then now with Connor. Like they started off so hot in the beginning and then that seems to like have fizzled out the second Leah became single.
Yeah, the second somebody else shows up, she loses it.
All right, I know we're getting ahead of the After Sun here. I did watch it. It wasn't that interesting. I really only picked up a couple of things.
I can't.
One of which, Connor started giving Ariana the ick when all this was happening.
I agree.
I agree. Like she's
I remember this because
she's so aloof. Yeah,
they essentially and they were it basically like all of America is pulling for Janae right now. Like she's obviously the favorite, and I agree. She just seems so like
she should just have somebody right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
My girl deserves a bombshell.
Oh, by the way,
yes.
So the Kendall conversation that was with Janae. That wasn't with Leah. Where he was kind of hyping her up.
God.
Like,
God.
Who's sexy? I'm sexy. Who's sexy?
See, y'all, I literally, my everything is in one giant pool of information in my brain.
My mercury is in the Gatorade.
My mercury is in the microwave, not even the Gatorade. We're in the microwave.
Hakeem and Liv, like, kind of sort of make up. Not really. They just have
very strange.
I guess they needed like a solution for like their conversation because like that's just the production. You have to tell a story and then you have to have a conclusion to it, and that was I guess the conclusion. All right, so Janae and Leah, they get together, they chat about Leah wanting to get to know Connor because again, Leah was actually being very upfront with Janae about wanting to do that.
Yes.
Good friend moment.
Yes.
But then all of a sudden Leah snaps back and like cries again about Rob. So I think Janae's reservation about this is like, oh, okay, so you just want to get to know Connor so you can like feel better about the Rob situation because you want somebody on your shoulder now that Rob has somebody on his shoulder.
Yes. I still, at this point, I am still not convinced that they don't get back together at some point.
The connection, I mean, listen, the connection was definitely real. It was there.
Yes. I don't know. I, at that moment, was like, if the opportunity arises, they are absolutely 100% going to get back together.
Yeah.
Regardless of whatever shit they have said to each other at this point, the door is not closed all the way.
Well, it goes back to kind of what I was saying. Like, I think that Leah to Rob is more of like an end game kind of person, whereas Andrea is just somebody that he can like fucking dump.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's not ready to settle down yet. So he wants her in the corner waiting while he gets his dick wet with anything that moves. Exactly. And then he's going to come back and be like, baby, I'm ready to get married now.
Exactly.
And like, if I was her, fuck that shit. Fuck, I'm either your first choice or I'm no choice.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, pretty much. Exactly. But this is the kissing challenge now. Serena gets a text. We're going to the kissing booth.
Okay, I have a favorite moment during this.
This was another hot
spicy
challenge.
As fuck, y'all.
Oh my god. So this was a Maybelline sponsored challenge, of course, because then they go into all of like the Maybelline ads. They give the girls like the lip gloss.
Consider me influenced. Maybelline succeeded in what they wanted to do because every single lipstick those girls chose, I didn't see nothing. I didn't see nothing.
The guys were not wearing it at all. So, I wrote because they did the toast before they started the challenge. Not Leah thanking them for making her look good enough to steal someone's man. Because she's like, thank you, Maybelline, for making me look good enough to steal someone's man.
It's so funny.
So messy. So braggadocious.
Messy. So I love it. Bring it on.
Right. The premise of the challenge, right? It starts with the guys being lined up, and then it goes on to the girls. Each girl, and then each guy.
Yes.
Basically has to, each guy first, and then each girl has to go down the line kissing the girls, and then they have to rate that person kissing them, ultimately to find out like who the best kisser of the girl is.
And the kicker is the girls and then the guys later on are both blindfolded and wearing soundproof headphones.
So you can't tell. Like,
they have you can't hear the voice. You can't see. So you have no idea who is kissing you.
Later we find out like they can easily recognize.
They figured it out. Yeah, the girls, they figured it out. But the idea was that you don't know. So you're blind rating each kiss.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the game got very intense. Like everybody seems to know who's kissing them, so they're rating based off of the because they know who's kissing them.
My favorite moment when the girls were going and the guys were blindfolded first. Yes, the guys were blindfolded first. Yes. My favorite moment was when it was Kayla's turn. And she goes up to Aaron and she kisses Aaron and he immediately goes, "That was my wife? I know who that one was."
Yep.
And it was just so cute. It was so cute. And then later when he was rating it, he takes his headphones off and the blindfold off and he's rating it. And he once again was like, "That felt like a kiss from a future wife." And I was like, that was the most precious.
I was like, oh, he likes her.
It was the most precious thing ever. And it's like, it was so cute too because like he immediately knew it was her and you could tell when they were kissing each other that he just knew in that moment who it was. And then just what he said afterwards, it was just so sweet. I was like, oh yes, they are my favorite.
My heart, pulling out my heart.
Yes, it was just so cute because he's like, that's my wife.
So the girls are done. Kayla ends up being voted the best kisser.
Didn't the girls skip over Rob? And
no, I don't think they did.
No, Liv skips over Hakeem.
Liv skipped Hakeem.
Skipped Hakeem.
Poor Liv. Everybody hated her kiss.
Yeah.
Now the guys go. And it's just so funny watching Aaron like move away like every time another guy would go to kiss Kayla. Yes. It was really funny.
Their reactions made this whole fucking episode.
Oh my god.
Like the way that they were like pretending to do CPR
on
Cordell, like their whole reactions. I put this on our Instagram story. The picture of them reacting, and I was like, this made the whole like the challenge hot as shit, right? The reactions fucking hysterical.
I loved watching the guys react.
Oh my god, that was so funny. It was so funny.
And so like everybody goes. It's now Aaron's turn, and now all of a sudden in comes a hot new bombshell, Miguel.
Oh, he went in on those girls.
Another break. He goes, it's like, I'll take over from here, mate.
Can we also talk about briefly, can we run back to Cordell real quick? Because he went in on Serena like it was nobody's business.
Oh, it was so good.
He
knew what he was doing.
When this is their first kiss.
Yeah.
Well, technically their first kiss is when she goes. But like this was his moment. He's like, I'm gonna kiss my girl. And he did it. And spicy.
He ran with it.
Yes.
And he did well. She was really digging it.
Yes.
I think that this was a huge step to kind of help her move forward with him, because now she's like, oh,
that block,
the physical barrier has been lifted.
The block is gone. And she was like, oh shit. But I have to say, I really loved, my favorite part of that challenge was the ones that were pretty locked in on their partners really went in there and was like, this is my girl / guy.
Yep. So I'm going to give them a little more.
And they get a little bit more than the rest of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But going back to Miguel too, then you have Miguel like going up to Andrea, and he looks Rob dead in the face and he goes, I might take my time with this one. Sorry, mate. Sorry, bruv.
Love it. I love it. I love it.
That was pretty funny. I mean,
Kayla's out here.
Nothing,
yeah, Kayla's out here like, that was not Aaron.
Everyone was like, that was not Aaron at all.
No.
Oh, actually, I do need to backtrack again at one point, because when Rob went and like, this was after Janae was like basically complaining like nobody was grabbing her ass to kiss her, and Rob just goes,
homeboy went, bet.
Come here.
You want ass grab? I got it.
He went fully in.
Because the boys wanted to win.
That was hilarious.
It was so, like, the girls would say what they were missing in the kiss, and then the guy that would go next would be like, you bet I want to win this fucking challenge.
I'm going for it all.
I'm going for it. See, this is the thing. This, as a viewer, so funny. But me, if I was one of the girls, I'd been like, I hate the fact that my man is about to kiss like every other person in this house. I'd get so like,
everybody seemed like good sports about it though. Like,
yes.
For the most part, right? Because obviously, like, the girls didn't have great reactions when their guy was being kissed. But, like, I think everybody took it well in stride.
No, they did. They did. But it just was one of those moments it reminded me I am not built to be a contestant on this show.
Fact, same. But yeah, we have hot new bombshell Miguel, London boy, 6-foot king with muscles to match.
His accent is so stupidly attractive. I hate him. I hate it. And I don't really, couple episodes forward now, I don't know if I like him. I don't know how I feel
Jury's
about him.
Jury's still out on Miguel right now.
I don't know how I feel about him. I think I'm leaning towards not necessarily liking him too much. But the accent
has me.
The accent is doing things.
And then the episode ends.
Yes.
Poor Aaron, I don't think ever gets his chance to
He
go
does
down
not,
the line.
because it brings it up. Him and Kayla talk about it later, where she was like, I didn't get to kiss you. And then they end up kissing each other. They were in the kitchen or something. And she's like, I didn't get to kiss you. And he's like, we can do it right now.
Right. Like, we can literally kiss every single waking moment that we're here.
Yes.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Poor Aaron never got to have his chance to go down the line.
I hate that for him.
And we don't find out. Oh, actually, we do end up in the next episode. Yeah, so we're done with episode 9.
Yes.
We're going into episode 10 now. Yes. And they pick right back up again, right after Miguel goes down the line to kiss the girls. And then the girlies get to just take off their blindfolds, take off their noise-canceling headphones, and they're like, what the fuck? Who are you?
Who the fuck is that guy?
Who are you? And what are you doing here?
He got pretty high rates for kissing.
He seemed to nail the kissing.
Homeboy knew what he was doing.
He knew what he was doing.
He came in, Mr. Steal Your Girl.
I think these girlies were all so swooning over him.
Who was it? Was it Janae that said, I don't think it was Miguel's kiss, but at one point she was like getting fanny flutters.
Oh, Serena.
One of them said it, and I was dead. So funny.
So fun fact about the fanny flutters was that apparently, and they said this on After Sun, Maura gave Andrea and Nicole the challenge before they went into the villa to see how many Islanders they can get to say fanny flutters. And so they show the unaired clips of like all the ways that they were getting people to say fanny flutters throughout the villa.
That's so funny.
It was actually a pretty fun scene to watch. I was like, oh, this is kind of cute. Funny. See, it was like this. So one of my things with Nicole and Andrea was I don't feel like we really got to see enough of their personality so much as we had to see them like, just be with other men. This helped me at least get to see more specifically from Andrea, her actual personality.
Yeah, because right now all we have of her is Rob.
Exactly. Yeah, that's all we had of her. So the guys actually end up giving Miguel a nice warm welcome into the villa.
They do.
They're shooketh that there's another guy here, but they're like, what's up, dog? Like,
Didn't Kendall win the kissing challenge on the boys' side?
Yeah. He ends up getting voted the best kisser.
Love that
Poor
for him.
Aaron didn't even get a shot.
Poor Aaron.
Justice for Aaron. And
Justice for Aaron. I think they did Aaron because Aaron's the safe choice. Obviously, him and Kaylor are like end game, so it's like of all the guys to get out of the challenge, like that's the one because it's not gonna matter.
Yeah.
Like him kissing the other girls means shit at this point.
That's true. Connor and Leah then escape to the dock for a private chat. This dock is gonna be like that area of shame almost because all the steamy things are happening.
Soul ties in the dock seem to be where the action happens. I think the thing too is that these are the two most secluded areas that you can't really see much from the main villa. Like soul ties, you're sunken in, so you know when they're there, but you can't see anything because they're sunken into the ground. And like the dock, you can see them going, but you can't see them from the villa without like sneaking off and looking.
Yeah, that's true. They kiss during their chat after a little bit of like a shade fest being thrown at Janae because like she was still into Connor and stuff. So I was like, I don't really like that very much. Why are we throwing shade at Janae?
Yeah.
They're going to get humbled in like a second. But,
yes.
Hakeem and Janae also chat. They seem to vibe because I guess they found each other to be like their best kiss when they did the kissing challenge. So right away you could tell that the physical chemistry would be there.
Yes.
If they were able to make a bond over anything else.
Yes.
Miguel and Serena chat while Janae was making him eggs. And this is when like Serena and Janae kind of get into like that little spat because she was pissed that she's like, you really did not have to like come and do that like right now. I would have not, I don't know if I would have cared necessarily, but I also would have been like, okay, hand him his eggs and go.
The reaction seemed very over the top.
Yeah. It was like, were you guys supposed to get into some sort of fight or something?
It was very weird. It was very misplaced anger.
Yeah. Because she had been cooling it with Cordell this entire time.
Yeah. It felt very, I don't know. It kind of made me, for a moment, view Serena slightly differently. Of like, I had that moment of like, oh, did she just cling to Cordell for safety?
Like a friendship match.
Yeah, like because if she's with did she reinforce her thing with Cordell for the sake of safety and now that there's someone new here, she's jumping ship again? Or is she genuine about her feelings to everybody? Like I had a brief moment of like questioning her intentions because of her reaction to this egg thing. Like it was weird.
Yeah, it very, very uncharacteristic of her.
Yes.
Leah gathers with Kendall, Serena, and Cordell to tell them about her moment with Connor. Janae apparently did see them at the dock and stuff, which can't be like very fun to see.
No.
This is when Serena and Janae then get into their argument over the eggs. Janae and Leah also get into it a little bit because of Leah and Connor talking. And then Leah kind of does that thing where she's all like, he's not, he's not your boyfriend.
Yes,
so
this is her hypocrisy moment.
Yes. Yeah. Because it's like, girl, you didn't like it when Rob was like talking to literally anything that moved. And now you're getting
you can't say
like
shit
defensive
right now.
with Janae
you can't,
over it.
You can't say shit right now.
Yeah.
I think like the only girl in this house who can claim anyone as her boyfriend is Kaylor.
Yeah, actually.
That's the only one in the entire house that can claim that that's her man, period. Not comma, not question mark. It is a period.
They're the only couple that's been consistent from the start.
Yes.
So now, day 9 ends. We're going into day 10. We are now 10 days into it. We are just about getting ready to exit the early days, babe.
Early days, babe. I feel like the 2-week mark is where you exit the early days.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at, too.
Yeah.
Like, once you hit that 2-week mark.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they film for, like, what is it? Like, 3 months or something like that. Or maybe
6 weeks?
6 weeks? Okay, yeah. So, all right, we're already going into 2 weeks.
Yeah, so we're at this point, a week and a half, 2 weeks mark. Like, this day 10 and on is kind of past early days, babe.
Yes. Serena and Janae talk. And Janae doesn't really seem all that sensitive to what Serena was saying bothered her. And this is when Janae basically says in her confessional, she's like, oh, I don't know. I think I must have just been raised differently. When somebody says they're hungry, you make them food. You give them something to eat.
Yeah.
Like she kind of just like skirted around.
That's weird. That whole egg thing felt very
forced.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We see Miguel and Liv chat, so we start to kind of see their connection kind of build a little bit. They're both bombshells. They're both international contestants on the show. So I think that that's kind of where they have like common ground to start like building a bond here.
Yes.
Will it last? Probably not.
No.
Poor Liv just can't like, just can't get a bone.
I know.
Because she's cool and she's real and
I
like,
adore her.
but nobody seems to be as into her as
no,
like,
her and Janae are
else.
having a very hard time.
Tough time.
Tough time. And they really shouldn't because they're both gorgeous with wonderful personalities.
Yep.
But I think the problem they're having is they're very strong women.
Yeah.
And that the guys are not vibing with that. Because I think that was Hakeem's problem.
Yeah, that's true.
He couldn't handle Liv's personality.
Being her own woman.
Yeah.
We see Hannah and Cordell chat, so this is where they're kind of starting to like plant some seeds, like, oh, maybe Cordell's head will turn, maybe they're gonna form a connection. Spoiler, they don't.
No.
Miguel takes Nicole to Soul Tides. Aaron, Kendall, and Hakeem have a funny moment, and I think they also do the fake CPR on Kendall because they see them walk off to have a chat somewhere, and Kendall's just like.
The boys are just they're just so funny.
Fucking jokesters.
I love it. It adds such a great layer to the show.
It does. It's fun. I love it. I can't say it enough. I love the bonds formed here.
I love it so much. The guys really they're having their fights and their moments, and the girls are too, but they're at the end of the day, they are still just silly with each other and, buddy, and it's wonderful to see.
They're so chill.
It adds so much fun. Like the boy, he's over here freaking out and they're like, it's okay. You're fine. Everything's cool.
Rob gets a text and then we find out that this is going to be a boys' choice recoupling. So this time
I've been waiting for this.
The guys get to choose the girls they want to couple up with for this one.
I've been waiting for this moment. I thought it was going to happen when Andrea and Nicole came in. I didn't expect them to be the ones to pick, and I've been waiting. I was waiting for the boys to pick.
So interesting timing. Serena and Cordell then chat afterwards. And it almost seems like they make us feel a little unsure about what's going to end up happening with the two of them.
Yes.
Because I guess like Serena seems very torn about whether or not she kind of wants him or not. And she's been clearly having this battle with herself since day one.
Yes.
So jury's still out on those two. Leah and Connor chat. We already know at this point they're going to end up choosing each other. They've made it pretty clear to each other that they want each other.
Yeah.
For now.
Since that kiss in the rain on the dock, I knew in that moment I was like, this is them. Yeah, this is the new couple.
The guys rally around Cordell to help him decide because now at this point, even Cordell's not sure who he wants to choose. So I thought, again, another moment where the guys are just rallying around each other to kind of help make sense of what the situation is around them.
And they're doing it in a great way where they're not trying to influence his choice. They're just being supportive. And they're giving him both sides of the conversation, right? Because you have some of the guys being like, I don't know, dude. Like, it's really weird that all of a sudden she's like into you again. And then on the other hand, some of the guys are like, no, maybe she just needed a second, like she said. And they're not forcing their opinions on him. They're very much just giving their advice. And it's nice because it could have gone completely differently where they're like trying to influence his choice. And they didn't. They just kind of listened to him and were like, hey,
yeah,
I feel a little iffy on your behalf, bud, but I got your back.
If Serena also wasn't such a good person either, I feel like the decision would have been way less difficult, right? Like it makes sense to be this torn up because you're like, on the one hand, I need to play the game, but on the other hand, right? Like maybe she is somebody that we would be well together. Jury's still out.
Yes,
but they go straight into the recoupling. The next fire pit party recoupling. This is another one that we mentioned was over text.
This one is via text. Mother did not come to the villa tonight.
No, not for that night. But we have, I'm just going to go straight into like who the couples are.
Yeah, there's no point in.
We have Aaron and Kaylor. We have Kendall and Nicole. We have Rob and Andrea, obviously. We have Connor and Leah, and Janae was not happy about that.
No, Connor, Connor, what he said when he was picking Leah was uncool. I can't remember verbatim what it was, but it was a little, he kind of put his foot in his mouth.
Miguel chooses Liv,
Mhm.
and then Hakeem chooses Janae. So Janae makes it another day.
Yep.
Cordell chooses in a tight 2 where we're not sure. There's Serena and Hannah left. Cordell is to choose next, and then they kind of leave like a who's he gonna pick moment. And of course he chooses Serena, which then means that
Hannah
is now being dumped from the island.
Just like Coy, Hannah's time in the villa has ended.
Yep. Her bags are packed.
Her bags are packed. She's off to the airport.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which I really felt bad because she so badly wanted to find somebody.
I know. This is now the point where after this episode, the public vote is open for the first time. Woo! And now the public vote is now being taken into consideration, and everybody has to vote for their favorite couple. For the record,
love this.
I downloaded the app after episode 1. I did vote. I voted for Kayla and Aaron.
See, okay, I've been contemplating if I download the app or not, but now that knowing you have the app, I will get the app.
Have you been influenced?
Yes, because I didn't want to be. If you weren't gonna do it, then I wasn't gonna do it. But if you have the app, then I'll have the app. I don't know. I was like, is it too much to have the app?
No.
But I'm getting it.
Now, the only couple that is immune from the vote are Liv and Miguel because Miguel is new in the villa.
They're brand new.
Well, no, Liv isn't, but like Miguel is.
The couple is brand new. Miguel can't be voted on.
So now, we're not going to talk about After Sun. If we actually had historically watched Love Island, it would have made more sense for us to watch it. Because, like, the show's panel will usually incorporate people who have been on Love Island or Love Island games before. And they include, like, all of the Love Islands, not just USA. So if we watched it, it would make sense for us to watch After Sun. But we did not watch Love Island. So these characters are not all that important to us.
No.
So we'll go straight into, we'll skip episode 11 because that was the After Sun. We'll go straight into episode 12. That was last night? No. Just kidding. That was 2 nights ago.
Yes. This was Sunday nights that I didn't watch because I was at race cars.
Yes. So they pick right back up after the recoupling. Liv and Miguel chat. They connect physically in soul ties. Miguel does, he does tell her that he's still open. He's given kind of fuckboy.
I mean, in his defense, he literally just got there.
That's true.
So, like, he had to pick somebody, but he really hasn't gotten a chance to know really anyone. So it's no different than, like, that first week with the rest of the cast.
That's fair. Miguel then also chats with Nicole to let her know that he's open. I think he's made it clear he's going to lean more towards Nicole than he is towards Liv. Not that he doesn't like Liv. He just likes Nicole better.
And last night's episode also reaffirmed for me that he is feeling Nicole. Yeah. And Nicole is feeling him.
Yeah, definitely. So Janae and Hakeem chat. She's already friend-zoning him. She's still thinking about Connor. So just as quickly as we thought that this connection could be palpable, it was not.
No.
Leah and Serena chat. She already has the ick with Connor because
homegirl got it so fast.
She's like, I don't like him anymore.
No, but once again, it's another moment that reinforced she is just waiting for Rob to be available again.
Absolutely. I wasn't, and it's crazy. I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt at first, but what comes later, she was just waiting for Rob to be single again.
She latched on to him because she knew that, and it really is making me feel some type of way about Leah because it's so insincere, because she literally just latched on to Connor because she knew he liked her and she just didn't want to leave until she could get Rob back.
It's giving she's the villain now.
Yes. Yeah. I don't like it.
Because now, right, you're using Connor for the same reasons that Rob used you.
Yes. And then in turn, it's also, you're making Connor look like a bad guy. And it's not fair to Connor.
And she's still kikiing it with Janae, too. So it's like all the girlies at this point have made up.
Yes.
And even Janae's like trying to tell Leah, too. She's like, it's not that bad.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Because it's like she's saying all that, but now, and then in 20 minutes they have the challenge and they're fighting.
Yeah. Oh, that was a confusing challenge.
The challenge was weird. It was Fire Festival, but like, I don't know, it was weird.
And then we finally get a kiss between Serena and Cordell. Like their first one
a first real kiss.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not for a challenge. Yeah.
Yes, that was not for a challenge. And so that's how night 10 ends.
Homeboy went in too on that kiss. Where were they? In Soul Ties, I think.
Probably.
But they were chit chatting. He went in for a kiss, and he went in, and he was good. He was about to turn that shit into not an innocent makeout, and then Serena was like, "What?"
Good for them, honestly.
Maybe not right now.
Good for them.
Yes, we are so close to somebody hooking up at that. I'm actually surprised no one has.
I think they have been in the bedrooms. I think they have been, and we just haven't been seeing much of it.
I would feel like they would show us, because you do see them making out in the camera does pan to some, and usually it is Aaron and Kaylor and then Rob and whoever he's with at the moment, because he's a fucking horn dog.
Yep.
As evident by the fact that he's bringing up his fucking boner.
Leah and Connor are talking on the deck. Connor's just trying to kind of make sure that like they're still good, because you know the stuff with Rob was still fresh, and even she's like, no, I just don't want you to think that I'm not fully into it. But meanwhile, homegirl just said 5 minutes ago that she does not like him anymore. Mm-mm. She's out on this one. Mm-hmm. She's just sticking around at this point now so she can stay in the game. She didn't actually say that last part, but it's implied.
Yeah.
I wrote in my notes here, I was like, Leah clearly likes some toxicity in her relationship.
She fucking says it in her confessional at one point. She's like, if they don't make me feel like I want to go to the psych ward.
It's like, oh girl, no.
I literally sat there like, therapy.
You need therapy.
Therapy. That's not healthy.
At all.
That's not, you should not feel like you're going crazy with a guy you're dating. You should feel safe and
comfortable
and calm.
Okay, now we can talk about Rob and Andrea and his whack ass boner talk.
Oh my god! Every fucking time these two are together, he's out here like, I'm pitching a 10.
Like he's like clearly thirsting after her, and I like that she didn't just fold into it at all. Like they could have just gone into like anywhere in the entire villa to get their freak on, and they didn't do it. At least not that we saw.
Not that we saw. I think
she's kind of like trying to figure out how to respond to him at this point.
She's got this. She's like naive about it. Like she's like, oh, I just want a connection, and she says it in her confessionals the whole time. I've never felt a connection like this before. Blah blah blah. And that is where her not having a relationship since high school comes in.
This is where it becomes a problem.
Right? Because she has no, I don't know, like world view. She's very sheltered, it feels like, in her view of relationships, because she is just head over heels in the deep end, no life jacket,
clearly blind to the red flags,
right? Where it's like, if you haven't, the whole point of being single that long is to find yourself and be secure in yourself, because when you're that, then you can clearly see the red flags, right? Like it's easier to know what you want when you know yourself. And like I don't know, she every time she's with Rob and she's just got this, and I'm like, girl,
she's attached. She's just plain attached.
She got, it's a very clingy, she's not out of high school mentality about relationships.
And that takes a while to get out of.
It does.
Yeah. My longest relationship was from high school, and it bled through college, and it took me a long time to really kind of recover and like be like, oh, wait, these are not things I should be looking for in a relationship
There is a reason that the divorce rate for couples who were high school sweethearts and didn't date anybody but them is higher than people who meet later in life, because you are a completely different person in your teens than you are once you hit 30. And that's kind of how I view the girls here, where I'm like, you have so many years in front of you. If this is your soulmate, I'm all for it, right? Like Kaylor and Aaron, I feel very like I can see them lasting, but there's just something about Andrea that I'm like, she hasn't grown up fully yet. And you see that with her and Aaron. Like her and Aaron, oh my God. Her and Rob, she's out here like, he's literally telling you that he is like really only with you because you give him a boner. And you're like, oh my God.
Whenever guys be talking like that, I immediately get the ick.
Because it feels like you're only viewing me as like
a plaything,
a walking fleshlight.
And it's like, you don't,
that is not.
We can talk about literally anything else.
That is not, no. And that's, I swear to God, all of their conversations are about, they don't talk. There's no talking. Like I have the note that I was thinking of earlier. where like Aaron and Kaylor talk about what they're going to do long distance wise, right? They have an actual conversation, right? You have Nicole out here having real conversations with Miguel and Kendall, right? All of them are talking. They're talking about their jobs. They're talking about their life. They're talking about things. And then you just got these two over here like, I'm really attracted to you. You're like really hot. There's no depth.
Yeah. Infatuation at its finest.
It's infatuation at first sight.
We have Miguel and Nicole chatting again. And of course, this is when he establishes that he wants to get to know her the most. Liv gets a text.
Yes.
The challenge is called Burning Love, which is a festival. This challenge is confusing as fuck.
You know what I thought was so funny? When they heard the challenge was called Burning Love, everyone fucking panicked. They thought it was going to be they're like, oh my God, the house is burning down. The couples are burning up. Like they really saw this challenge as like something so negative. And it was so funny because then you get to the challenge and it's like fucking stupid as shit.
I'm not mentally prepared for when they start pulling in the Casa Amor twist. I'm not mentally ready for that.
No, I'm not.
Because if this is how they're reacting to like a regular challenge, they're going to lose their fucking minds when Casa Amor happens.
No, literally, they're already panicking about a challenge name.
Now, I'm going to try my best here to explain the challenge here because it was tough taking notes and trying to keep track. I had to rewind several times.
Oh, me too.
To make sure I was understanding the challenge correctly.
I still didn't. It was a weird obstacle course, but not an obstacle course.
So basically, each couple basically does like an obstacle course like around a festival. And I'm putting air quotes around festival if you're not watching on YouTube. But one person blindly has to find a cupcake while being led by their partner. And they're all basically sitting on like these mushroom, like, what do I call those? Like fixtures, statues, shelves, like
they're like Mario World mushrooms on the ground. Mushroom tables, if you will.
Yeah. And so like they have cupcakes sitting on them. And so like basically one partner has to lead the other to find the cupcake and do a very suggestive eating the cupcake show.
Why did we have to do that?
Because it's Love Island.
It was weird. Sexy. I was like, why do we have to assault the cupcake like that?
Because they need to get those those double entendres in there.
We really don't, but okay.
So then the next step is they have to be led to find like a mushroom cake. Now that shit looked good. I wanted to eat some of that cake.
You know, it's so funny. Some of the way some of the girls were picking it up and like shoving it in the guy's face. Some of them didn't break off a tiny piece, but one of them picked it up and picked up the entire head of the mushroom and just like shoved it in his face. And I was cracking up.
Yeah.
Because that's some shit I would do. I would try and break off just a tiny piece so I'm not like smacking you in the head with like really dense cake.
Yeah.
And then accidentally break off the whole thing and just.
They found a great cake maker out in Fiji because those mushroom cakes look so real.
Yeah.
So
it took me a second to realize that they were going from a cupcake to a cake.
And they were good. Yeah, there was like no transition between each. It's like they were just going one for one for one for one. It was like. So then they feed the mushroom cake to their partner. Now they go to a slushie stand. And each person chooses a slushie with a card on it asking questions where they decide, you know, whatever matches up with another couple in the villa. And then they throw the slushie in that couple's face.
And this is where the fighting starts, babes.
It gets very messy.
This is when the claws come out.
Then the next step of this obstacle course is that they search for a phone dropped in a porta potty where they then are drenched with a colorful slime and they have to take a selfie.
Okay, this grossed me out because they're fishing for a phone in the toilet, and then the toilet
gets shot up at them.
Spurts you with slime, and like, girl, I gag.
And then you have to make out with somebody afterwards,
You're
like
covered in slime
with the slime in your mouth. I'd be like trying to wipe my mouth off as much as humanly possible.
Like, babe, don't kiss me. That's gross.
Like that's disgusting. That's where I draw the line. Then they have to finish the obstacle course by doing like a really steamy makeout on a platform. And they were all getting very much into it. It became very sexual, very fast.
Yes, it did.
My key thing really about this entire challenge, a lot of shade being thrown at Janae, but also the group was very quick to blow up Leah's spot.
Hell yeah.
On her and Connor.
And I hated that I really annoyed me that it was like justified with Leah. because you can tell that it's her. She's not sincere about this. But I hated that it backfired on Connor.
Yeah, because now at this point, Connor is seeing
He's
that
like
there are seeds
collateral
being planted of doubt.
Yeah, he's like collateral damage to
Mhm.
it because they're like bitching at Connor in that scene in that challenge too, and he's like,
Mhm.
I'm just trying to find love, man.
Right, like I'm just trying to connect.
Yeah.
So now after the challenge is over, was there even a winner to this challenge?
Not that I remember.
I don't even remember.
I don't
That's
know.
just how much was going on.
It was weird. It was very weird. I think I was so focused on the fighting,
Yeah.
and trying to figure out what the fuck the challenge even was.
Mhm.
That like I had no idea. I don't think there was a winner. I think it was
very overstimulating.
so overstimulating. There was a lot of bright colors. Things were being said.
Yeah.
I couldn't handle it.
Very fast paced.
Yes.
So after the challenge, Connor confronts Leah about, what had happened throughout the challenge. And again, she's still lying to him and basically trying to make it seem like she's almost gaslighting him at this point.
She is doing to Connor
what Rob did to her. Exactly what Rob did to her. Hurt people hurt people.
Fucking made a match made in fucking hell.
So Leah then updates Serena, Janae, and Liv that she feels bad about how she feels. But she still won't do the noble thing and be honest with him and be like upfront about where her thoughts and her feelings are at. If she were, maybe the whatever outcome is going to happen, because I don't think we know what happens yet.
No.
Maybe we would know.
It's okay for her to test the waters with Connor and then afterwards realize like I'm not over Rob yet.
Yeah.
No one would fault her for that if she was honest.
Mm-hmm. But she's trying to pretend like she's so over him and his nonsense, and like she's shit talking him in like the closet, like never ending shit talking.
Yeah, it's not cool.
Not a good look.
It's not a good look at all.
Miguel and Nicole are chatting at the dock. They then also share a kiss.
Whew.
Aaron and Kaylor chat about seeing Wicked.
It was so cute. He's like, "You've never seen Wicked?
You've never seen The Wizard of Oz?"
And I was shooketh because Wicked is like my favorite musical.
Wicked is a great musical.
I've seen it 4 times.
I think I saw it twice.
I've seen it twice on tour, twice on Broadway.
Oh my god.
I know. How do you not see Wicked?
Uncultured.
Uncultured. And Wizard of Oz at that point.
She's a baby. You gotta remember, she's like 22.
I loved Aaron though because he's like, oh, you'll get a whole new perspective of the Wicked Witch after this. You're a Team Wicked Witch after it. And I'm like, I love this. I love this child.
I know.
I love him.
Kaylor and Nicole chat about Miguel and Nicole's kiss on the dock. Her head is turned, obviously. She's very into Miguel now at this point. And then Liv comes in, and then they update Liv. And Liv is very, like, stoic about it.
She's so nonchalant.
Very nonchalant. And she's like, okay, that's fine. Do what you gotta do.
I think because she's not quite attached to Miguel yet.
That's true. It's only been, like, a night.
Yeah. I will say, though, because Nicole said in her confessional or something that Miguel is physically her type. And I think that is what's really attracting her to him is that like she's physically, which I think is so interesting. And I kind of love it because on one hand, Kendall may not physically be her type, but they have a connection going. And then it's kind of being interrupted by someone who she would normally go for outside of the villa. And I'm really interested to see in what direction she goes. God, I kind of hope that she goes for Kendall to like not, because if you're just falling back on what your type is outside of here, like what's the point?
When you chase that physical connection too much, you're going to be disappointed
like
when you see that they don't mentally match you.
Because like what's the point then? If like if he's no different than who you're going to meet on the outside. Yeah. Then why are you here?
Exactly. Janae and Connor also chat, and Connor then at this point apologizes for his jabs towards Janae, which gives me, you're doing damage control now. You're just trying to make sure that your ass gets saved later on. I see what you're up to.
Oh, yeah.
You're being humbled right now.
Yes. I think he's starting to see where she's at. I think it's starting to click.
Yes. And now this is kind of where this is where my thoughts are on where the disconnect was between the two of them to begin with. Because they do get into another argument. Yeah. And I made sure to write this down so it stays fresh. Okay. But basically, from what it seems, yeah, on the one hand, right, Connor was upfront about his feelings and connection, or he wants to form a connection with Leah.
Yes.
But in Janae's perspective, it sounds like he only basically told her that because she basically had to ask him for the information. Like, he was not himself being forthcoming about his feelings towards Leah. She basically had to ask him to get the information out of him rather than him just straight up coming out with it.
Being straight up honest.
So that's, I think, where the issue comes between the two of them. That makes up the whole, like, first half of the episode, and then we go into the elimination, where now we see the results of the public vote.
Oh, you guys!
In comes Ariana in her pink Barbie.
Oh my god,
island
iconic!
Dress.
She every single look they throw this woman in, I'm like, yes.
Like, yes, I'm here for it.
Yes. Pink is a fantastic color on her.
It works great for her.
Yeah.
She got a lot of color while she was out there too, so.
She's been getting a lot of sun. It
works for her.
Well, I mean, we haven't seen her in like 5 days.
I'm living for her extensions too. So Ariana starts by letting us know who the safe couples are.
Yeah.
And the safe couples end up being Liv and Miguel by default because they're immune due to Miguel being new to the island. We have Serena and Cordell. Duh. Taylor and Aaron. Duh. And weirdly, Leah and Connor. Who the fuck is trying to keep Leah here?
I really want to know that too. Like, who? It's over Kendall. Really shocked me.
Yeah, exactly. So we have our bottom 3, who are Andrea and Rob, not shocked there. Janae and Hakeem, not shocked there either. And then Nicole and Kendall, which it really could have been a toss-up. But yeah, to keep Leah and Rob over Nicole and Kendall.
Well, was
a weird move.
I was very when she said that her and Connor were safe over. I assumed that Kendall would be safe. Maybe not because of Nicole, like they're new, but I figured, well, I figured people would vote for him because of Kendall. Like, Kendall's what's going to get you to vote for them.
Right. But like, my theory here, because the show's got to put on a show.
Absolutely.
Leah probably was in the bottom 3, and because who was going to vote for her after that? But they needed a what the fuck moment, and they needed like us to be like, oh shit, now who's gonna go home? Because they thought it was gonna be too obvious for Leah to be in the bottom 3.
Yeah.
So they kind of threw us that curveball, and one of those 3 couples in the bottom 3 became collateral damage.
Yeah.
You can't have both Rob and Leah in the bottom 3.
No, that's like too obvious.
Right? Like, because then how are we gonna get them back together?
Yes.
So that's my theory. I don't know if it's true or not. Ariana, look at me and blink twice if I'm onto something here. She won't do it.
She won't.
So now we get our bottom 3 couples. Guys stand on one side of Ariana. The girls stand on the other side of Ariana. And then we're hit with a real big curveball that is new to the whole Love Island game here, USA. They have to choose the guys choose which guy to save. And then the girls choose which girl, or to dump, I should say. The guys choose which guy to dump. The girls choose which girl to dump.
Yes. Their faces when Ariana said that. Shocked.
Everybody was crying.
Everyone was crying. And I felt so bad because there was no right answer here. Well, the guys had a correct answer.
The guys did have a correct answer. And it was a pretty obvious one. We'll just get it out of the way. They dumped Hakeem.
Well, I really thought they'd pick Rob. Like, Rob was, to me, the obvious choice to go home.
I wanted him to go home, but I really didn't think they were going to choose him because the boys are all so tight with him.
It's the same reason why they didn't have Janae go home, because it's their friendships is there, which also really irks me when they start fighting later about it, because they did the exact same fucking thing. But anyway.
So the girls definitely
devastated.
took a much longer time to deliberate.
Fucking devastated.
Who goes.
They went back and forth a lot. And I felt you just watching it and you're feeling so bad because they don't want to send anybody home. And the girls had no right answer.
Well, it was also interesting with this one too, right? Because now you have Janae, who obviously, like, they knew and they said it right away. They were like, obviously we're going to save Janae. Like, they didn't even debate it.
No.
They knew she was going to stay. Then you're now deciding between the 2 new bombshells. Both of the new bombshells get thrown in the bottom, which they kind of got the short end of the stick there. So now it's basically it sounds like their rationale came from who has found a connection and is already closing themselves off when meanwhile they just got here 4 days ago.
Yes.
And who's here to actually play the game of getting to know people.
Yes.
And this is kind of going back to what we were saying earlier about Janae has obviously had a bad trip so far with finding connections, but at least she's getting out there and getting to know people. Now we have Nicole, who, by the way, Kayla and Liv only just found out about kissing Miguel. And that information right there
saved her.
Is what saved her.
Yeah.
That information, if Nicole kept that to herself, they might have sent her home. But now they're like, oh, well, this makes all the difference because Nicole now is actively working on, seeing multiple people on this show. She's here to play the game.
Yes.
I don't fully disagree with that decision.
No, I don't either. I said this to you before we started filming, was that there was no easy answer here.
No.
Because you're getting rid of somebody who has stayed with the first person that they picked, which is no different though than Kayla and Aaron.
Kayla and Aaron are, but I also will say that Kayla and Aaron, yes, they have been closed off, but technically Aaron did go on that date,
and she did
kiss two other guys. Connor, I think it was Connor and Hakeem, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But they still came back to each other. They've been the most consistent, and they have been the most, the stronger couple of the whole villa.
I think part of the reason why Aaron got so upset when they were sending Andrea home was because of what the girls said, because he goes, well, that could have been me and...
That could have been me and Kayla.
Yeah.
The girls choose basically to dump Andrea, because at this point, Andrea was not open to any other new connections. No. She was dead set on Rob.
She was.
Was there a chance though she could have had her head turned? Maybe. We just didn't really
I don't think
we weren't
so.
really given that opportunity.
Her reaction to being sent home away from Rob completely solidified the fact that she was not going to look at anyone else. She was not going to talk to anyone else. I mean, I think too what her other nail in the coffin was that she didn't try to even get to know the girls.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We did say that earlier. Yeah.
They really played into it because they didn't have any connection to her whatsoever.
None.
No connection. They have a connection to Nicole a little bit, right? Because Nicole is going to them and they're forming their friendship bond. And then obviously they're not going to send Janae home. And it's like, I think if Andrea tried a little harder with the girls, I don't know if it would change the outcome, but I think it would have helped her a little.
It would have made them feel a little bit more invested in her.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. And then Rob, there was a whole hissy fit. Like,
of course
fuck
he does.
You guys, I'm leaving.
Oh, it's so
you
fucking
guys
dramatic.
Just sent 3 people home.
Oh, it feels so Jax Taylor.
And then Ariana's just sitting there like, Rob, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I don't think you should leave though. Like
listen.
That was her host hat.
If you don't think she was over there looking at that dramatics and picturing Jax and Tom Sandoval in her mind right then, of like, and then I immediately thought of that. She's like, I can't tell you what to do. If you want to leave, that's all right, but I think you should stay. It really just felt like she was looking at him going, he's not fucking leaving. Because that's what I was doing. I clocked it right away when he said that. I was like, he's not fucking leaving.
Everybody clocked it.
He's not
right
leaving.
Away.
No, he's not leaving whatsoever.
But again, Rob has to pull out the theatrics. He's upping the ante of the show. He's putting on a performance now at this point. That's the end of episode 12, which now finally brings us to last night. We have episode 13, which is right after the elimination. Honestly, the first half hour of this episode
was screaming at each other.
Yeah, was just the reaction and of Hakeem and mostly Andrea going home.
I feel really bad for Hakeem in this because Andrea just overshadowed Hakeem with her fucking dramatics.
It's true. It was supposed to be about Hakeem in that moment, and then he just completely robbed the scene.
He got nothing.
He robbed the scene.
Like, she pissed me off with her reaction because, like, she was crying like she just lost the fucking love of her life. And this, again, this reaction just reinforced to me that she is so naive.
Yeah.
And so out of touch because you have known this man for 72 hours and you are crying like your whole world just ended.
Like as if like you had just gone through the worst heartbreak ever.
Of her life. Like you just lost your husband. Like you don't know him. He's just a guy.
just a girl.
Yeah.
A little old me. Sorry, I had to.
But, like, he's just a guy. He's just a guy. And the only thing he has said to you the entire time is that you make his dick hard. That's it.
Yeah. So, and thus the theory is born that Leah and Liv conspired against Rob and Andrea because of mostly Leah's previous connection to Rob, and now Leah essentially masterminded Andrea's exit, which might not be 100% true.
But it's not untrue.
But it's not untrue in regards to the connection that she has with him. And we'll get back into that in a second.
Yeah.
We're done tangenting. We're done jumping ahead. We're going straight through because Love Island is literally about to start.
Yeah.
Janae thanks the girls for saving her and here again, we see them rallying over her while Nicole and Andrea are packing up Andrea's shit.
It really pissed me off, the boys' reaction to this. It just hurt my heart for Janae because she's crying and she goes, I know they're talking about me. And that has to hurt.
Yeah. It's like these guys are supposed to be your friends.
And they're out here actively wishing that you were sent home.
Which I don't also believe is 100% true either, though. I can see why it's easy to think that, but at the same time, they do actively talk about the theory with Leah.
Yes.
So, like, I was like, I don't hear the guys so much talking about Janae so much as I hear them talking about, like, the thought about Leah.
Yeah, no, it's just, like, in that initial moment where, like, why are you sending her home, blah, blah, blah. It's, like, Janae just knew.
Like, she's not with anybody. So that must be the reason why they want to send her home.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Rob pulls Andrea for a chat. Oh, fuck me. I hate this part so much.
Ugh.
And then this is where they have that internal debate, like whether or not Rob should stay. And Andrea tells him that she would selfishly like him to leave, but she will not expect him to do that because then he doesn't want to be, they both don't want him to regret leaving.
Yeah.
Which fair. It's only been 4 days.
Yeah.
But also Rob does that annoying little like I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
You know what that reminded me of?
What?
Scandal. In Rachel's apartment.
They love you. I love you too. I said they love you.
Yeah. That was so gross. Like,
grody.
So gross. Like, the whole thing pissed me off because her reaction was just so fucking over the top. And then she goes back into the dressing room and she goes, I can't talk.
Mm-hmm.
Like, girl, you don't know him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's okay to be upset that you're leaving and your time is over quicker than you wanted it to and you're not going to be able to deepen this connection with him. But don't act like he's your fucking soulmate. He's not. Like I would expect this reaction out of Kaylor if Kaylor sent home.
At this point, yes.
And not like that. This is fucking weird.
Over the top.
It's over the top. And she literally was sobbing for like fucking hours.
Yeah.
Hours.
I wonder, like, how long after the elimination they actually ended up leaving.
I mean, it went on. It went on.
I mean, it took up the first half hour.
I mean, at that point, everyone was still awake. Like, it looked like it went well into the night.
Yeah. Dragged.
She fucking dragged it out. He dragged it out.
Yeah.
Poor Hakeem barely gets acknowledged in his departure. Like, the boys had a very sweet moment with him, though, where they were doing his, like, hype up thing,
And this is why I liked Hakeem to begin with. In the beginning, like, he just seemed like
he
such
brought
a lot of
really
energy.
good energy, yeah.
Yeah. And then, like, we never really saw it again after his first night in the villa.
I know.
So, Rob basically updates Aaron that obviously he's staying. He made that whole state.
Such shock, much surprise.
Nicole brings up to Liv, like, immediately afterwards, pulls her aside and goes, basically that she doesn't like Rob because of the conversation he had with Andrea, where Andrea basically told him that she wanted him to go with her, and he chose not to go after the stink he just made.
It was a big stinking show, and it just made Andrea even more upset for no reason.
Yeah.
Because, like Nicole had said, if he didn't get up like that, I don't think she would have been as upset as she was.
Yeah. And then we have to watch Rob continue to play the sad boy act.
Yeah, he puts up a fucking, like, tent in soul ties. He sleeps outside.
Oh, yeah. So dramatic.
And then the voiceover guy is like, as he pitches a different kind of tent tonight. And I was like, that's so gross, but so funny.
Definitely went to soul ties just so he can jerk off. And that's why he probably set up that tent there.
Yeah, because when the girls slept outside, they just slept outside.
Exactly. They just slept outside. He's sleeping out there by himself, and he's blocking all camera views.
Because he's fucking dramatic.
Nicole basically pulls Kendall in for a chat and basically tells him about her connection with Miguel. He
Mhm.
tells him that, I kind of want to explore that. And while Kendall doesn't really love hearing it, he takes it on the chin. He's very understanding of it.
Yeah. It really sucked that she had to drop that in the midst of them being upset, and because everybody was upset.
Emotions were definitely
Emotions
high.
were so high, and it sucks that she had to tell him that in that moment. But she did the right not holding off until the morning was the right thing to do.
That was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
She handled it perfectly. It sucks for Kendall. Now he's like definitely feeling like he needs to keep his distance a little bit, and he's kind of going back to square one. So I feel for him in that aspect. He seems like he's got a good enough personality to where like, okay, I'm starting to turn around on him a little bit.
Me too.
More.
I mean, he's really winning me over. He keeps doing things that are really winning me over.
Same. Miguel tells Liv about basically the same conversation that Nicole and Kendall had. Miguel had with Liv. Liv, again, she already knew about all this, so she's taking it like a champ.
Yep.
Kayla and Aaron chat about, and this goes back to what we were saying about how Kayla and Aaron felt like it could have been them in that situation, and Kayla kind of regrets not speaking up more to save Andrea.
Yes, and I appreciate, too, in that moment that Aaron apologized to her for his reaction. He goes, he's like, did I scream at you? And she goes, you didn't scream at me, but you were yelling. And then he was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And
that was another tick in the positivity box for me with him, because acknowledging that and apologizing is huge. Like, he could have just glossed over it and pretended like he never happened, but acknowledging his reaction and apologizing for his over-the-top reaction and then making sure that he didn't yell at her is I really appreciated that. Yeah. And then she starts crying, and then he was up in that, and they're comforting each other, and it just kind of really reinforced that they are a very strong couple.
And then he keeps that same energy with the rest of the girls as they're getting ready for bed. Yes. He apologized to all of them.
Yes, again, another tick in the green flag box.
Green flags all around for Aaron.
Because none of the other guys, not that I recall, apologized for their reaction, but Aaron immediately went, I'm sorry. Like, once he calmed down, and he didn't even wait for the next day. Like, this is still the same night.
Yep, this is still like right before they're about to go to bed.
He made sure that they didn't go to sleep with that hanging in the air.
Yes.
He was like, I'm sorry.
He nipped it in the bud.
Yeah.
So now we go into day 12. Nicole's still in her feels. She's crying the next morning because Andrea's gone. Kendall's distancing himself from her. She's feeling the effects now of being on the island. Yeah,
because she says in her thing, she goes, I think him not touching me last night and not saying anything this morning, like, was really triggering. Because, again, they're forcing this intimacy with them sharing a bed that just heightens everything.
It does.
Yeah.
Makes things way more extreme. We watched the girls ogle at Miguel just walking across the villa with his hands.
I mean, I don't blame him. I don't blame them. That was so impressive.
Rob and Kendall start commiserating with each other. Aaron and Leah are playing ping pong together. They're chatting, and Leah's basically saying at this point she does wish that she could have had a do-over with Rob.
I love that he clocked that.
Oh, he
saw that, and he was like, don't say that, because but that bothered him.
Because he knows the truth. He knows.
I love that he was like, whoa, wait, hold on. Yeah. Don't finish that sentence. Don't taint your image in my mind. Don't do that to me.
Like, come on, girl, we're friends. Let's stay that way. Leah and Connor then chat about the girls' decision to eliminate Andrea because for whatever reason, these girls actually have to explain themselves as to why they came to that thought process when they had just explained it the night before. Leah pulls Serena for a chat to vent. The guys, and this is when she finds out about the conspiracy theory that Leah and Liv conspired against Rob and Andrea.
The part of this that I agree with is on Leah's side, not on Liv's side.
Oh, yeah. I don't think Liv had anything to do with that.
No, and you see it, and Leah goes, well, I didn't say anything negative about him to her. I stayed out of it.
I hope that After Sun pulls up receipts of her actually saying something bad about Andrea. Like, if they have them, play them. Leah then confronts Aaron and Kendall and Janae about that theory. And she's like, basically trying to convince them otherwise. And then they have I think there was more to that conversation that just got cut because it's like she brought it up and then they show her walking away after they said no.
Yeah.
And then after she walks away, Janae goes, so she's still totally into Rob, right? And everybody died. Oh my God, that was so
I love
funny.
her so much. She's so fucking real.
So, no, seriously, because they were all just like, yeah, okay, so we all see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so obvious.
And then they fucking reinforce it 5 minutes later.
We go to the fire pit party. Rob and Janae are chatting. She does bring up Leah, basically saying like, she still cares about you. And I think that Janae just wanted Leah away from Connor.
Yeah.
Which is fine. She doesn't want him anyway.
No.
Might as well give him back.
Yeah.
Nicole and Kendall chat, so it sounds like they're starting to kind of Nicole's trying to work on that relationship a little bit and be like, listen, just because I want to see where this goes with Miguel, it doesn't make me care less about you.
That combo was really sweet because she brought up, which I like their communication because she didn't not, she's like, you didn't talk to me this morning, so I thought you wanted space. And he's like, well, I thought you wanted space. And then they're like, okay, so neither one of us wanted space.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's what ended up happening.
Yeah.
Cordell and Serena are starting to heat up a little bit more. They go in for a much long kissy.
I love that for them.
Leah and Rob are now chatting.
You know the emoji with like the air coming out of the emoji's nose? Fucking me this morning, bro.
All of the theories are now being confirmed.
I fucking pissed me off, man. Like, what the fuck was it for then?
And it's the way that she tried to ambiguously like hint to him, to Rob, that like, things are good with Connor, but
yeah, he's like, what do you mean?
Like he knows exactly what she's trying to say. He just wants to fish it out of her. And she wants him to want that. Like, we are actively watching a game being played between the two of them.
It's so weird, too, because didn't y'all, like, 72 hours ago, like, say that it's over forever and you're never going to be together again and I'm so done with you? Like, we had a whole conversation on the circular couch about this. You were screaming at each other. And now all of a sudden, 4 days later, we're like, I'm not happy. Are you happy? How do you feel?
It's
like I could still get back together with you. Like, pick a fucking lane.
And while that's happening, Aaron and Connor are basically kind of debriefing because they see exactly what the fuck's going on. Connor, you can tell, or again, I don't know if this is just how it was being edited, but Connor looks like he's panicking.
He is. Yeah. Like, he was not happy.
He knows exactly what's up.
Yes.
And then the episode ends. I will say, Love Island starts at the time that we're filming this, starts in literally 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
So we're about to be caught up. They did show a preview for tonight.
Yes.
3 bombshells are coming. 3. 2 guys and 1 girl.
I love this.
We're about to get 3 more additions.
I hope this guy, I hope he connects with Janae. I hope he connects with Liv a little bit though. Like,
I'm so excited to see how the house shakes up with 3 people being added now.
And one of them wants fucking Rob.
Oh, is that what was said?
Yes.
Oh, Christ. Here we go.
And again, I go, why?
What is it?
She's like, he's so hot. Excuse me.
Where? He's hot, but his actions and his behaviors takes away from the hotness.
I think Connor's hotter than him.
No, I'm a little icked. I don't know what it is, but I won't lie. I think the snake tattoo on Rob is kind of what does it for me.
The tattoos.
It is. I think it's the tattoos that do it for me.
What is it about Rob? And then all I'm thinking is, here we go again.
Here we
go again. I have to watch Leah fucking lose her fucking marbles once again. Because this man is going to see a hot girl in a bikini and go, bet.
I wonder if he's going to get with Leah first.
I don't know.
Before this happens.
I'm really hoping that because he said to Andrea before he left that if our connection is so strong, and I make connections with other people, but I'm still thinking about my girl, then it's meant to be, right? And I keep thinking to myself, I want him to make a connection with another girl, and I want her to fucking show up in Casa Amor.
Yep.
And fuck shit up.
We also have a theory, guys, that we talked about off pod, but we're hoping for the chance of somebody who was previously eliminated, whether it's 1, whether it's 2, I don't care how many. I want to see if somebody ends up coming back via Casa Amor. I'm so curious.
Fuck shit up.
Fuck shit up. Take some names.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a good place to wrap it.
I agree. I'm so sorry. This is a very long episode.
This is going to be a little bit of a long episode. It's fine. We had a lot to talk about today.
So much happened this week that didn't happen last week.
Well, I think now it's because we know these people a little bit more. So now we have more opinions on what is going on.
Yeah.
But as we're ending this episode, I'm literally about to go watch tonight's episode of Love Island.
I'm going to get my ass in the car, book it out home.
And then we'll debrief afterwards.
Yeah.
But thanks for joining us. I forgot to do it again in the beginning, so here we go again with my regular shit. If you made it this far, thank you so much. We hope that at this point you have subscribed to our YouTube channel at Pumped Up Tea, followed us on our social medias, which are only TikTok and Instagram. We put up some pretty dank memes every now and again. So, check those out and, leave some comments if you didn't already. Smash the like button on this video if you're watching on YouTube. And I think that's it.
Yeah,
Leave comments with your thoughts.
We'll see y'all on the flip side.
Catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.